holy season. We thank God for his infinite love, and we pray that the light of his glory will forever shine on this magnificent land. On behalf of Melania and the entire Trump family, we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And on behalf of everyone at the Dan O'Donnell Show, we wish you likewise. President Trump holding an economic roundtable today, shortly after the Federal Reserve announces another quarter-point rate cut. As Jimmy Carville very famously said, it is all about the economy, stupid. And even 30 years plus after he famously said that during the Clinton administration, it still holds true. 3 hours of broadcast excellence on the way, or at the very least, and far more likely broadcast competence. If you want to join us for Jerome Powell.
Conditions in the labor market appear to be gradually cooling, and inflation remains somewhat elevated. In support of our goals, in light of the balance of risks to employment and inflation, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to lower our policy interest rate by a quarter percentage point.
Now, of course, President Trump had a very strong reaction to that, as he had every time Jerome Powell opens his mouth. He has made no secret of the fact that he is not a very big fan of the Federal Reserve Chairman.
We have to get a mindset that when a country is doing well, you don't want to kill the growth. That's what they're doing. They kill the growth. I don't know if you guys even agree with that. They kill the growth because they're so afraid of inflation. But you can have tremendous growth, inflation, everything goes, but that's not inflation. So I think we can do much better than traditional numbers. And you see that. You see that with what we're doing. We're leading in everything.
President Trump is obviously pushing for faster, more aggressive rate cuts than just the 2 quarter-point cuts that we've seen at the last 2 Federal Reserve meetings. President Trump said Powell is once again too late. His term is coming to an end. Of course, President Trump does get to pick a replacement, widely expected to be Kevin Hassett, who would assume the role sometime in spring, I believe in April. He would get the Federal Reserve Chairman that he wants. But remember, Powell was also appointed by Trump, and Trump once spoke very highly of him. What is clear, though, is the Federal Reserve is still trying to dig out of President Biden's massive hole. Because first, we had record inflation, and what I find to be incredibly rich is now, just within the last couple of days, really within the last day or so, Democrats have sharpened their message on the economy, focusing in particular on the issue of affordability. Now, were they in a coma, just like the President Biden was over the last 4 years, because they didn't seem to be talking about affordability back then? Now, however, there is a truly hilarious trend in social media, and that's Democrats graphs that inadvertently that all of the price increase Americans deal with right now. Watch, especially in the first 2 years, it didn't slow Norman off when Democrats control both House of Representatives and the Senate. You might remember, as a little listener to this show, that it was the initial stimulus act, that the Rescue Plan Act, that brought $1.9 trillion of new spending into an economy that did not need it. It wasn't just the stimulus checks that were going to pretty much every man, woman, and child in the country, which not only increased individual spending at a time when the production of goods and the providing of services was either dramatically hampered because of COVID shutdowns or COVID-related layoffs. It also is the dramatic increase in government spending. We are going to try to get to later on in the show a fantastic study by the Institute for Reforming Government that came out this week that showed all of the ESSER grants. Paradoxically, ESSER grants were the grants from COVID, the American Rescue Plan Act, that were going into local school districts in Wisconsin and across the country. They paradoxically did not lead to more self-sufficiency by school governments, by school boards, and by individual school districts. It actually led to way more school referenda. And now that property tax bills are starting to come in, they're starting to be mailed out. In fact, I have got, if you live in the West Allis, West Milwaukee school district, may God have mercy on your soul as you go to your mailbox to look at your tax bill, because I am seeing just some astronomical numbers. Every couple of days, I get emailed somebody who is just so upset with their property tax bill. I said, yeah, well, they went to a massive referendum, 2 of them, in fact. And this has been going on all across the country because governments have been flush with cash. The federal government essentially just printed money, not because it was needed. And this is the thing that for 2 straight recessions, liberals, I think, intentionally get wrong. They intentionally distort the necessary liquidity injected into a market. So in 2008, at the very tail end of the Bush administration, George W. Bush and the divided Congress actually injected a massive amount of liquidity into the financial markets to prevent a complete meltdown, a total global tilt. The economy was going to go under had there not been this emergency liquidity. When Barack Obama was elected, his very first thing was a $1 trillion stimulus plan that was inflationary in the extreme, not nearly as extreme as the massive double the Obama stimulus jolt of cash that Biden injected, but it was inflationary and it was also unnecessary. You might remember way back then the shovel-ready jobs that weren't quite shovel-ready. It seems as though whenever Democrats get into office, their natural inclination is to just reward all of their friends with massive amounts of that sweet, sweet federal cash. And that's exactly what happened in early 2021. It's no coincidence that within a month of the stimulus checks going out in April of 2021, and within a month of local and state governments just getting money hand over fist by the federal government, inflation spiked to 30-year highs. Within 2 months after that, July of 2021, we had 40-year highs. We had inflation year over year. Consumer price index by the summer of 2022 hit 9%, 9% year over year. So in 1 year, prices, and that's an average of prices, individual stuff like restaurant food, groceries, gas obviously spiked summer of 2022. We actually saw for the first time in American history, you had gas prices in all 50 states average $5 a gallon. By way of comparison, we're well under $2 in some areas. And I believe the national average, which of course is dramatically increased, dramatically risen by states, high-price states like New York and California, no surprise, run by Democrats, Democrat monopoly states, we're seeing an average of about $3 a gallon, and in fact, far less in most normally priced areas. But in the summer of 2022, in the summer of 2022, the nation was in dire straits. Year-over-year inflation was 9%. Under 4 years of Donald Trump, from 2017 to early 2021, cumulative inflation, cumulative, meaning total inflation, the total amount by which prices rose in a 4-year stretch under Trump was 8%. Democrats who are telling you right now, with a straight face, that it's Trump's fault that we can no longer afford anything, ignore the fact that inflation spiked by more in 1 year, the first full year that Joe Biden was in office, than in all 4 years that Donald Trump was in office before that. Total cumulative inflation under Joe Biden and Democrat rule from 2021 to early this year, 2025, was nearly 22%, 21.5%. In real dollars, that means for every average family of four, husband, wife, two kids, for the average family of four, in real dollars, that meant it cost $17,000 more for the exact same goods and services that they were able to purchase under the first Trump administration. That comes out to an extra $1,400 a month just in inflation costs over the course of the 4 years of the disastrous Biden Democrat regime. $1,400 is an extra rent payment. I don't know about you, but I'm not sure I could swing an extra $1,400 a month every month for 4 straight years. What that actually means is in terms of real wages, wages adjusted for inflation, you actually got about a 4% pay cut. Now, again, compare that to the 4 years of Donald Trump that immediately preceded that. Even with the massive recession, short though it was because of COVID-19, I call that the artificial recession because government was forcing businesses to shut down. We didn't see a pullback in economic activity. We didn't see layoffs caused by that pullback in economic activity. We saw layoffs because government was saying you couldn't go to work. You couldn't keep your business open. Naturally, there needed to be layoffs. Even with that, there was a steady increase of about 2%, give or take, in real wages under Donald Trump. 4 years of Trump, real average annual wage growth. 4 years of Biden, 4 years of Democrat inflationary policies, 4 years of a 4%, 1% each year. You got 1% poorer, in other words, under Joe Biden and the Democrats. Now, however, it really is the economy stupid because Democrats aren't stupid enough to actually believe that it's Donald Trump who was causing all of this inflation. They're counting on the fact that you, or John Q. voter, is too stupid to realize the difference. They're counting on the fact that they are going to have their message parroted in the press, that all of the price increases actually happened in the last 11 months and that the last 4 years that immediately preceded that were totally and completely irrelevant. That no, we're seeing real price increases just in the last 11 months. And here's the thing. Here is the thing that is so devastating for Republicans. It's so devastating for the Trump agenda, and it should come as a clear warning sign for every Republican here in Wisconsin and beyond running in 2026. This is likely to work. The average person does not listen to this show where we go in depth, in granular depth, looking at the causes for inflation, looking at why we are now in and why we have been in for the last 4 years an affordability crisis. The average person is wistful for prices not last year. They're not thinking in terms of year-over-year inflation. They're thinking of what they knew they used to pay for things during the last Trump administration. But they don't think in terms of who's actually responsible. In fact, I am strongly of the belief now that we've seen Trump's popularity, even though he is still, in terms of the average of polls, right about where George W. Bush and Barack Obama were at this point in the second term of theirs, even though we are still seeing relative strength there because he's got a very strong base, we are seeing a whole lot of casual Trump voters, casual Republican voters start to abandon him because they are now blaming him for the affordability crisis, just as they blamed Biden and the Democrats when they were in charge. This is a very precarious position to be in, and I'm not sure many Republicans, many conservatives, or many just average people have really contemplated what this means. Democrats might actually dominate the midterms because of Democrat failures during during the last administration, because the damage to the economy is devastating and so long-lasting and so semi-permanent that if all of the things that take effect in 2026, in just a couple of weeks, in the one big, beautiful bill, don't immediately alleviate pressure that people are feeling economically, they're going to take it out on Donald Trump and the Republicans, just as they did last year against Joe Biden and the Democrats. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show. More on this coming up in just 3 minutes.
Now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join Medi-Share and save even more than usual. For many families, Medi-Share means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. More than 1 million people are part of healthcare sharing now because it just makes so much sense right now. And Medi-Share is the gold standard. Members like it a lot. We know this from member surveys. Medi-Share has been around for over 30 years. It is a proven thing. And if you join before December 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save $100 right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline's December 15th. Call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number. It's 866-89-BIBLE. That's 866-89-BIBLE. 866-89-BIBLE.
When starting a new home project, the first step is the hardest to take. Hi, Colleen here with Tri-County Contracting. And with Tri-County Contracting, the first step is super easy. Go to TriCountyContractingWI.com. You can fill out a short form requesting a free estimate. Amanda will give you a call and schedule a no-pressure appointment with you. Whether it's roofing, siding, windows, or all of the above, we have you covered. If you are looking for an even faster roof price, we also have our instant roof quote button. Name, address, and email address, and you have your price on the spot. Easy first step. Then all the steps after that, we'll take care of those for you. Getting you an easy to read, clear proposal quickly comes next. Then we can help you pick colors using our showroom or project map on our website. We pull the permits, we take care of materials and disposal. Our trained and specialized crews and project managers take care of all the install and cleanup. For you, it's as easy as one step, and that step is easy. Worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. Tri-County Contracting.
Hi, this is Dave Spano, CEO of Annex Wealth Management. As we head towards the new year, I want to extend a heartfelt gratitude to our listeners and to our clients. Thank you for your trust, your partnership, and the conversations we get to have every day. From all of us at Annex, we wish you and your family a safe, joyful, and meaningful holiday season.
Investment and retirement planning, along with tax and estate strategies. Get financially organized for the new year. Click Get Started at annexwealth.com.
Restoring your home or business to its natural beauty is our only business. We are Wisconsin's most trusted carpet cleaner for over 75 years.
Edelman Carpet, Furniture, and Drapery Cleaning.
It's Edelman again. Edelman. Make news on 30 WISN, your #1 preset on our free iHeartRadio app. Powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
From all of us here at the Dan O'Donnell Show, Merry Christmas.
House Speaker Mike Johnson understands exactly what Democrats are doing by playing the affordability card as we are getting very, very close now to the 2026 midterm election year. In his press conference today, Johnson said, look, Democrats destroyed this economy, and now they're trying to blame President Trump for it.
This is why Democrats' newfound claims about affordability are just patently absurd. Okay, here are the facts, and you know this. Many of you don't write about it, but these are the facts. They're undisputed. They broke the economy, and now they want to lecture the American people about affordability. They opened our borders, and now they want to lecture to the American people about immigration border enforcement. They broke the American healthcare system. They caused premiums to skyrocket, and now they have the audacity to tell Republicans that the only way to save it is to throw hundreds of billions of dollars to health insurance companies, which would merely fuel a system that is rife with fraud, waste, and abuse.
Just so we're clear, That was not me blowing my nose and coughing as House Speaker Mike Johnson was speaking. Could we get that member of Congress a lozenge, please? He's right, of course, in that Democrats did break the economy. Democrats did break the health care system. And President Trump's one big, beautiful bill had nothing to do with the expected price hikes that Obamacare customers are going to have. Do you know who made that abundantly clear just yesterday as Democrats held a press conference today trying to convince the American people that it was the one big, beautiful bill that's going to cause all these price hikes? Bernie Sanders. Bernie went on CNN and said, yeah, things were pretty awful well before the one big, beautiful bill. Thank you very much, Bernie. You are always a voice of reason, if not necessarily sanity. But what Democrats are doing here is about the ultimate crass, craven, callous politics. They know people are hurting, especially younger people who are just starting out in their careers, younger people who are just trying to keep their heads above water. And look, folks, I know our audience, the people listening to me or watching the stream, we tend to be a little bit older, a little bit better off. I'm in my mid-career years, which means I'm probably hitting, hopefully, something approaching my highest expected earnings. But think about somebody coming into the Biden economy just starting out with maybe $60,000 worth of college debt, or maybe even somebody who's going into the trades who doesn't have any initial debt, who's making $60,000, $75,000 immediately out of college in the skilled trades. Try buying a house. You'll find that it's darn near impossible, because you don't have the equity built up in an existing property. You don't have the cash available to put down in a down payment. And more importantly, you're competing for houses that before Biden were $150,000, but are now $350,000, $400,000 or more, with, at the high end, baby boomers, Generation Xers, and older millennials like myself who can theoretically make all cash offers because we have either paid off our houses or have built up so much equity in our current houses that we're now looking to downsize a little bit and essentially profit take off of our primary residence for several years as our kids get older and we become empty nesters. Somebody who is making $60,000 to $75,000 per year, which was once considered very comfortably middle class, if not upper middle class, is now going to be drowning not just in debt, but also in the day-to-day expenses, the biggest one, of course, being living. So at the high end, you are competing with people who can simply outbid you for property. And at the low end, especially among renters, you are paying more and more exorbitant rents because Biden, in addition to spiking inflation, flooded this country with an untold number of illegal aliens and also legal aliens or illegals who he paroled and just with a wave of his magic wand made legal. Now, think about that. Think about that for a second. We've got a recovering economy from the COVID shutdowns, meaning the global supply chain is sort of in shambles as it's just starting to come back online. Biden isn't just giving people $1,400 stimulus checks. He is also keeping enhanced unemployment benefits in place, meaning people would be more likely to choose to stay on the couch, to stay unemployed and continue to get those sweet, sweet benefits when we needed to be incentivizing people to get back to work and to populate the supply chain so we could get the goods and the services out to people with an increased demand for them. Remember, everybody now has $1,400 in their checking accounts, and they're looking to spend those. And what we knew immediately is that they weren't going to spend them necessarily on travel or services or things like that. They were spending them on goods. classic example I always used was the PlayStation 5. Do you know how impossible it was to get a PlayStation 5 when it came out in either 2020 or 2021? It was because of the global supply chain. They could not get the parts necessary shipped to where they needed to go to manufacture store shelves. So those shelves were bare. Biden's policies didn't just keep those store shelves bare. It didn't just screw with the global supply chain. It also injected into this country. So on the supply side, there's two sides of the economic equation, right? Supply side, demand side. This is why, if you've ever wondered why Reaganites and people who believe in just exploding the American economy, global free traders, they are supply siders. They believe in supply side economics, just increase supply to meet an ever-increasing demand. We had massive supply issues at the same time Biden and the Democrats were creating massive demand issues by importing half of the third world into the United States. Now, what happens if supply is severely limited, or even if supply, as the COVID shutdowns gradually gave way, supply sort of leveled out? But even if supply, if the supply of a given product or a given service stays roughly status quo, maybe slightly increases, but all of a sudden there's a massive demand for an increasingly scarce supply, that's inflation. So not only did Biden on the supply side screw things up, not only did Democrats refuse to enact policies that would have been supply side or growth-based economic basics, they also screwed with the demand side by importing millions and millions of people into this country. And this, folks, is, you want to alleviate a whole lot of pressure, both downward pressure on wages at the bottom end of the economy. I don't mean this in a pejorative sense, but in terms of the lowest socioeconomic classes, like lower class, lower middle class, they're all also competing for the same jobs. Now, there is a very interesting policy that just went into effect a couple of hours ago. That is the Trump Gold Card, where individuals can pay $1 million to come into this country and live here and work here. Companies can pay $2 million to get an employee here. We're going to discuss this in some depth coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, right after the daily Trump date, into whether this is actually, economically speaking, a good idea. What I can tell you is fundamentally a bad idea was just sort of opening the doors and saying, all right, folks, vamonos, come on in. It was an economic disaster. The price of rent skyrocketed, weirdly enough, especially in places where illegal and legal immigrants were flooding into. So wild how that happens. There is a finite supply of houses, finite supply of apartments. If there is a spigot of people coming in, there is going to be a massive amount of new demand. Supply, demand. When it gets out of whack, you get inflation. That's exactly what we had for 4 straight years. So for all of these failures, Democrats believe they can actually turn those into an electoral victory by pinning all of this on Trump. Why? Because he didn't do enough, you see. He didn't do enough to fix all of the problems that Democrats caused. This is a brand new perversion of the old Cloward Piven strategy. You've probably heard me talk about that. If not, well, you're in luck, because we are going to talk about it coming up next, why you flood the system and then try to steer people towards socialism. That's next on The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Merry Christmas from all of us here at The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Dan O'Donnell here with my friend Daniel from Bayview Shade and Blind. Daniel, I love the work you guys did at our new home, and more importantly, my wife loves it too.
Appreciate that, Dan. We work with folks who really value having a trusted guide to walk them through the whole process, from choosing the right window treatments to professional installation. That's how we do it at Bayview Shade.
And you know what, Daniel? It really shows. Go to BayviewShade.com. They're sharing a little sunshine from their family to yours for 99 years.
Dan Voss from Cut and Go here. At the end of this commercial, I'm finally going to release our phone number. Unbelievably, demand has helped Cut and Go amass a fleet of 5 cranes to handle raw tonnage of volume. We just added 2 more of our amazing remote-controlled truck-mounted articulated crane grapple saw tree removal trucks to our fleet. Seasonal pricing, frozen ground, less materials to haul, and disease and insects that don't spread during winter dormancy. Call Cut and Go 262-443-4995 or pick your preferred service at cutngotrees.com. Cut and Go safely in very organized fashion brings down trees for you to clean up at your leisure. Or with Chip and Go service, we chip the limbs as they come down. Or our premium full cut cleanup and removal, virtually levitating the tree off your property as it comes down. Call 262-443-4995. A Tons of Trees movement. cutngotrees.com. That's cutngotrees.com.
Do you own a small business? A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get Super Sure.
Things are going to be busy between now and the end of the year. Holiday gatherings, school functions for the kids, and family get-togethers. Hi, it's Jay, and the last thing you want to worry about this holiday season is whether your roof is going to make it through another Wisconsin winter. Well, one call to Semperfi Roofing to schedule a free 21-point roof inspection will put your mind at ease. A highly trained roof inspector will carefully examine every inch of your roof, checking the 21 most common areas of roof failure, and then go over the results with you and discuss your options going forward. Most of the time, problems can be fixed with a minor repair, but if it is time for a new roof, Semperfi offers money-saving discounts and financing terms to make paying easy. And don't forget, Semperfi is so confident in their skilled installers, they offer a 50-year leak-free guarantee on every roof they install. 50 years. So call or go online to schedule your free 21-point roof inspection today. Call 262-600-2910, 262-600-2910, or online at semperfiroofing.com.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semperfi.
Dan Voss from Cut and Go here. At the end of this commercial, I'm finally going to release our phone number. Unbelievably, demand has helped Cut and Go amass a fleet of 5 cranes to handle raw tonnage of volume. We just added 2 more of our amazing remote-controlled truck-mounted articulated crane grapple saw tree removal trucks to our fleet. Seasonal pricing, frozen ground, less materials to haul, and disease and insects that don't spread during winter dormancy. Call Cut and Go 262-443-4995 or pick your preferred service at cutngotrees.com. Cut and Go safely in very organized fashion brings down trees for you to clean up at your leisure. Or with Chip and Go service, we chip the limbs as they come down. Or our premium full cut cleanup and removal, virtually levitating the tree off your property as it comes down. Call 262-443-4995. A Tons of Trees movement. cutngotrees.com. That's cutngotrees.com.
America stands at the ready to build faster, achieve more. The future won't wait. And TC Energy is moving forward confidently. The Wisconsin Reliability Project is unlocking billions in economic growth by connecting Wisconsin with reliable North American natural gas, helping the entire state go further. TC Energy. Energy connected. Learn how we're strengthening America from the inside out at tcenergy.com.
Do you own a small business? A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get Super Sure. Coming soon.
Jay here with a few stories from Engine and Transmission Exchange customers who had to be given the bad news, but appreciated the honesty from Vince and his ETE technicians. Jimmy Ray's 2002 Honda Odyssey had given its last ride, and he says, Oscar gave me a printout showing me why. Erica was smart enough to use ETE as a fail-safe when she bought a used car for her daughter. They had a 3-day window to return it if they changed their mind, so Erica took it over to Engine and Transmission Exchange to give it the once-over. A few hours later, Al called her to say that this new used car had a bad transmission, thousands to replace, so she and her daughter got their money back. You simply can't put a price on the sort of experience, honesty, and integrity you'll encounter at Engine and Transmission Exchange. All of your work will be done by ASE-certified technicians. They'll only do what needs to be done, and yes, they'll make sure you aren't dumping good money after bad. See EngineTrans.com for details. EngineTrans.com. It's Engine and Transmission Exchange.
10 athletes will face the toughest job interview in fitness that will push past physical and mental breaking points. You are the fittest of the fit. Only one of you will leave here with an iFit contract for $250,000.
This is when mindset comes in.
Someone will be eliminated.
Pressure is coming down.
This is Trainer Games.
Watch it on Prime Video starting January 8th.
Injured? Call Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Who are new to the Dan O'Donnell Show, first of all, welcome. Second of all, you will likely hear me talk a lot about a couple of things. Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals and the Cloward-Piven strategy. Cloward-Piven. First of all, there were two sociologists who were married to each other, Richard Cloward and Frances Fox Piven. No, it is not named after Jeremy Piven, the star of Entourage. Ari Gold, let's hug it out. Bad word. Frances Fox Piven and Richard Cloward advanced the idea that, and they were focused on welfare. What they ultimately wanted was what most fellow radical leftists wanted in the 1970s, and that's the exact same thing that radical leftists want in the 2020s. That is the destruction of the capitalist state in the United States of America and its replacement with a more equitable, just socialist system that, wouldn't you know it, they, as the most equitable, just people in the world, would be in charge of running. What Cloward and Piven said in the context of social welfare is if you just overwhelm the system, if you create so much demand for social welfare, the system will be flooded. You will therefore be able to prove that the system itself is unprepared to handle the needs of people in the United States of America, and you will need something like universal basic income, which essentially is a brand of socialism. The government just gives people basic subsistence while it controls the means of production and it controls the levers of wealth and the levers of the economy, which of course it only pulls for its select chosen few. Cloward Piven, I hate to say, appears to be working very, very well in 2025. Now, it wasn't intentional. Of course, Democrats didn't want to destroy the nation's economy in 2021. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. Maybe they did in order to prove that capitalism was such a massive failure. But I don't think, in terms of recovering from the COVID shutdowns and recovering from just a global crisis, which was largely overblown, as I think we now all know, Democrats did, in fact, overwhelm the system. They put the United States economy on tilt because supply and demand were so hopelessly out of whack. Now, however, because they couldn't get supply and demand to meet at a happy medium for pretty much all 4 years Biden was in power, and the only tool they really had was aggressive rate increases by the Federal Reserve. And this is exactly why President Trump is so hard on Jerome Powell, because he wants rates cutting down. He's saying, look, if you keep cutting at a much more aggressive rate, you are going to spur economic activity, and we have nearly insatiable demand. Just unleash the supply, unleash the American economy. We've got all this money coming in from tariffs. We can certainly keep up with demand. I'm not necessarily sure that's entirely true, but I'm willing to wager that it's a much better idea than whatever the hell was going on economically in 2021 and 2022 that got us into this mess. Once Democrats realized how badly they had broken the system, and how badly they were punished at the ballot box for that in 2024. Trump, once again, just as he was in 2016, he was a response to a thoroughly corrupt, broken political system. Trump was a response to the Obama era's excesses, the Obama era's weaponization of government, its cronyism, as evidenced by the fact that Hillary Clinton could blatantly violate the law and walk away scot-free. Trump was the brick through the window of the political establishment. In 2024, Trump was the response to the Biden era's destruction of the American economy and the inability of Democrats to fix the mess that they created. Well, once they lost and they realized, it took them a while to realize this, once they realized that the primary reason for Trump's re-ascendancy in 2024 was because of the economic mess they had made and how unaffordable they had made life for the average American, they needed a way to politicize it. They've done that. Do you think it's a coincidence that an avowed socialist is able to win overwhelmingly, and admittedly one of the most left-wing places on planet Earth, New York City? But Zohran Mamdani, just like Trump, was a response to people who stupidly believe that it's the system, who believe that it's not just Trump, it's not just Republicans, but it is in fact capitalism itself that is to blame for what's going on economically. Now, in Texas, we have had a whole lot of fun this week playing Deep Thoughts by Jasmine Crockett. She was actually on the Jake Tapper show yesterday and said something fascinating. And that was, look, I'm not too radically left-wing. I'm not too much of an out-and-out idiot socialist for these rube voters that we have in the Democratic Party. Just look at Zohran Mamdani. His win proves that absolutely I can win in Texas.
Let me tell you something. Mamdani has not backed down whatsoever from his rhetoric against the president. In the Oval Office, he stood there and he said what he said about him being a fascist, yet he was able to win those voters. So Democrats that believe the only way that you can win is by being soft and sounding like a Republican, that is not true. What people are looking for are people that are tough and are fighters and are going to fight for them.
Boy, I sure hope Democrats take that lesson from Zohran Mamdani and run a whole bunch of socialists nationwide, especially in fundamentally conservative states like Texas. But what she's saying does have a grain of truth to it. Socialism thrives when people feel as though the system has failed them. Democrats are now engaging in a new Cloward Piven strategy. They have already overwhelmed this system. Prices are not going to go down, at least to the level that they were in 2019, unless we have some sort of massive recession. And if we have a massive recession, there is no hope for the party in power in 2026 and probably 2028 as well. But Democrats need to tell people, and the people that they're telling are primarily not as politically astute and frankly don't really follow current events all that closely and can be easily convinced that, hey, it's Trump's fault prices are so high. Pay no attention to the last 4 years, and even deeper than that. Don't you think that it's fundamentally unfair that you went to college for 4 years? You went to Cal Berkeley, and you got a valuable degree in transgender ideological studies, but you cannot get a job, and now you're $200,000 in debt. You did everything right. It's the system that has failed you. That's Mamdani's message, isn't it? Ultimately, that's populism's message, both sides of that coin. I'm not trying to compare Donald Trump, the ultimate capitalist, to Zohran Mamdani, but Trump is a conservative populist. And what was his message in 2016? The corrupt political system failed you. What was his fundamental message in 2024? The corrupt, incompetent, probably designed collapse of the economic system, that's failed you. I can fix it. Well, unfortunately, the number one rule of sales is always always underpromise and overdeliver, never the opposite. Don't overpromise and underdeliver, otherwise you've got big problems. Well, what was Trump saying on the campaign trail? I will fix inflation. On day one, we've got a plan to bring down prices. Well, it's now nearly day 365, and people are realizing, hey, prices haven't gone down. And yes, people really are that short-sighted. They think that a systematic malfunction in the nation's economy brought about by incompetent socialist policies can be fixed in the better part of one calendar year. And they expect that. Fortunately, not every member of the media is parroting the Democrat line. I was actually kind of shocked, although Joe Kernan over on CNBC, he is a big conservative. He actually had on a former head of the SEC, and they both agreed, look, the affordability crisis that's suddenly 100% Biden.
The affordability issue is from the 22% increase in prices in inflation under Biden. There's just full stop right there. That's the affordability issue. And he ought to be able to explain that better.
Right. That's right. And look, I think that with the economic team, President Trump and the economic team led by Scott Bessent, you have people who very much understand this. And it was they were thrown, what I would say, the worst economy for the average American in my adult lifetime in terms of like you said, the incredible increase in prices at the household.
Yeah. You know that. I know that. Now we've got to get the average voter to know that. And that is a very difficult proposition. Unhinged liberal of the day coming up next.
From the Lynch GM Superstore in Burlington, Total Traffic Center.
43 southbound is stop and go from before Center Street to the Marquette. Crash now off on the shoulder near Highland. 43 northbound is okay, and in Brookfield, a crash Blue Mound Road westbound at Maine. Right lane is blocked. I'm Tom Gaines. That's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Looking for affordable blinds, shades, or shutters for your home? Don't hire an expensive pro. Check out Blindster.com, where we offer custom-made window coverings at guaranteed low prices with a team of pros ready to help you every step of the way. Blindster.com.
Gold is at an all-time high, so now's the smart time to turn your unwanted gold, silver, or diamonds into cash at Robert Hack Diamonds. Old class rings, broken chains, even dental gold or silver flatware could be worth more than you think. Sit down with a trusted expert for a no-pressure cash offer. They've treated clients with dignity and fairness for over 64 years. If in doubt, bring it. It's not just about gold, it's about trust. Robert Hack Diamonds, 156th and Grill Avenue in Brookfield and 76th and Layton in Greenfield.
The free iHeartRadio app is the #1 app for the holidays.
Have a holly jolly Christmas.
The amazing iHeart Christmas and playlist you'll love all in one place. Open the app, search holiday, and let the festivities begin.
Hey, Wisconsin, Jerry Bott here. When you're shopping for a new vehicle, it's common for uneasiness to set in. Am I getting the best deal? Am I getting what I'm paying for? At Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac, those questions just melt away. Holiday is proudly staffed by very nice, straight-shooting automotive professionals who are refreshingly direct and completely transparent. I'm a fan of that, and you will be too.
Holiday's year-end sale is where to add more joy to the season. Get our low simplified price, more for your trade, and score enticing offers now on Wisconsin favorites from Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC, or a GM-certified pre-owned model. Navigate today's car market confidently. Score the best offers of the season and experience the stuff that makes fans of drivers from all over Wisconsin and beyond.
This is professional running back Braylon Allen. I know I can count on Team Holiday. You can expect the same.
Find yours and discover the difference at Holiday Automotive, Fond du Lac, and at holidaygm.com.
It's worth the trip.
Hi, this is Dave Spano, CEO of Annex Wealth Management. As we head towards the new year, I want to extend a heartfelt gratitude to our listeners and to our clients. Thank you for your trust, your partnership, and the conversations we get to have every day. From all of us at Annex, we wish you and your family a safe, joyful, and meaningful holiday season.
Investment and retirement planning, along with tax and estate strategies. Get financially organized for the new year. Click Get Started at annexwealth.com.
For safe, purified water right from your faucet, the solution is crystal clear.
Any project, big or small, when it comes to Water One, call
Snow's on the ground. Lights are all bright. The holidays are filled with delight. But what makes it all worthwhile? Presents that make everyone smile. It's easier than it may seem to find gifts that make their eyes gleam. They're available all around at local retailers round town. And what is it each year that makes gifting so easy? It's the Holiday Scratch Games from Wisconsin Lottery. Now prices go from 1 to 20, and types to choose from, well, there are plenty. Lots of different games to give, with instant win prizes to add to the fun. Never very far from where you live, so easy as that, your shopping is done. To give to the folks you're looking to shop for, or those you recall at the last minute, and sure to the one you simply adore. For all, the smiles are sure to hit. An easy gift is always near to make sure you're spreading holiday cheer. It's the Holiday Scratch Games from Wisconsin Lottery. Please gift responsibly.
Get started with your no-hassle refi checkup by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com.
Bullet points.
I'm Eben Brown. There's now an extra step to buying a handgun in Delaware. A new law is now on the books after a judge declines to restrain it pending a court battle. That requires anyone looking to buy a handgun in Delaware to first obtain a purchasing permit. That law passed along party lines in the Delaware state legislature, where Democrats hold the majority. But what many might find interesting is that despite this requirement of a purchasing permit, the state does not require permits for ownership of handguns or for openly carrying them, only to conceal carry. But at least for now in Delaware, to buy a gun, you need a permit, and to get the permit, you need to pass a background check, get fingerprinted, and complete a safety course. Second Amendment groups are suing over the law, claiming it's unconstitutional. A court recently ruled Delaware's law disallowing adults ages 18 to 20 from buying guns is out of bounds. And those are your bullet points. I'm Eben Brown, Fox News.
Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show. It is time now to have some fun. We name the unhinged liberal of the day.
It's wild.
What? Hey, wait. What are you doing there, Armin? We have producer Armin back after a long hiatus. He put my cuts in the wrong order. Here's the theme song.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany.
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil.
America is over.
You know, we talk sometimes on this program about liberal wine ants. You know the type who has a little bit too much wine at Christmas and starts yelling at your dad because he is a maggot. They are remarkably wrong on policy. They're typically middle-aged. J.D. Vance last year called them childless cat ladies. Well, the final boss liberal wine ant is podcast host Jennifer Welch, who welcomes all immigrants to this country except Elon Musk.
It's wild how rural America, like they believe that land, votes, and they don't understand that they're being taxed at a higher rate than somebody like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, who I want to remind everybody that's against immigration is a fucking immigrant. I just think it's really important that we remind everybody all the time that Elon Musk is a fucking immigrant that doesn't pay taxes, who is a parasite off the American taxpayer.
Yeah, the parasite who has created how many 100,000 jobs. We'll actually get into legal immigration as well as H-1B visas and the brand new Trump gold cards coming up after the 4 o'clock news right here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the Annex Wealth Management Studios. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference. Stay informed all day, every day on News Talk 1130 WISN. Milwaukee, an iHeartRadio station. Guaranteed human.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michaels. While President Trump this week is attempting to ease concerns about economic uncertainty, on Capitol Hill today, House Speaker Mike Johnson blamed Biden administration.
The Biden administration spent like drunken sailors, and they attempted to tax and regulate their way to prosperity, and we all knew when they were doing it that it would not work. It had exactly the opposite effect.
Lawmakers are looking to enhance safety for kids online as a bipartisan package is hoping to crack down on digital predators. One country has already made a big move. Fox's Bill Maloogian.
A lot of people on the Hill are talking about what Australia just did, which is banning social media for kids under the age of 16. They're the first country on the entire planet to try something like this. And consider this, a study released by the Pew Research Center found that 93% of American teens between the ages of 13 and 17 use social media, spending an average of 4 hours and 8 minutes on it every single day.
Healthcare fight is dominating Capitol Hill with dueling plans between Democrats and Republicans, both set to hit the Senate floor tomorrow. Fox's Chad Pergram.
Everything will fail. These are test votes. They need 60 yeas. The question then becomes, will Congress allow health care costs to spike without addressing premiums? They go up on January 1st. It's about the math. Even though lawmakers want to address health care, there's no plan which can pass. Some Republicans are completely opposed to renewing any expiring Obamacare aid. That includes President Trump, but others are open to it.
Checking the Holiday Automotive of Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard, Admirals hockey tonight. Milwaukee's in Grand Rapids to play the Griffins. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Another round of light snow this morning, mixed in with some freeze and drizzle. Our winter weather advisory goes through until 9 a.m. Temperatures stay near 30 this afternoon, fall to near 8 overnight tonight, and just 20 tomorrow. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
What if I can guarantee the price of Bitcoin will be $1 million in 2030? Well, I can't, but I can guarantee you'll save a lot of money on blinds at my company, Blindster.com. Free samples, free shipping, and guaranteed to fit. Shop at Blindster.com today.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care, and here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join Medi-Share and save even more than usual. For many families, joining Medi-Share means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. More than 1 million people are part of healthcare sharing now because it just makes so much sense right now. And Medi-Share is the gold standard. Members like it a lot. We know this from member surveys. Medi-Share has been around for over 30 years. It is a proven thing. And if you join before December 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save $100 right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline's December 15th. Call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number. It's 866-89-BIBLE. That's 866-89-BIBLE. 866-89-BIBLE.
I'm medical doctor Jennifer Grieve. My experience in the ER led me to establish Restore unit contact centers in Brookfield and Mequon. Holidays can be hard discussion and programs in the help they desperately need. Reset Restore was found the principle that every Wisconsinite deserves the chance to live life without their dark clouds choking them when they wake up. Our treatments empower, reset, and restore their relationships, including their most important relationship, the one with themselves. If you or someone you love is dreading getting together with family and friends due to depression or anxiety, intravenous ketamine therapy may be the solution. Patients undergo what they call life-changing treatments in our state-of-the-art clinics in Brookfield and Mequon. Sessions take about an hour and are done within 2 to 3 weeks. This season, don't forget to take a moment to prioritize someone's mental health, including your own. R&R for Relief, Reset Restore MD, rnrmd.com. That's rnrmd.com.
It's almost 2026, and we can be honest. A lot of us don't look at our health the way we did 10 years ago, 20 years ago, certainly not 30 years ago. We're open to new ideas. We're looking for new treatments. We're essentially tired of these same old, same old. Hey, it's Ben, and if that's you, please take a minute and listen to our friends at QC Kinetics. See, QC Kinetics is different. It's not surgery. It's not more steroid shots, and there's no long downtime for recovery. Dr. Caravelli and her team get to the root of your pain by using the stems from concentrates of your own natural healing tools to heal that location. By putting these natural elements to work, your body can revitalize your joints. It's a simple injection. It's not a hospital stay. Take charge of your health. Look beyond the same old, same old. Call them today. 414-888-4387. 414-888-4387. QC Kinetics. 414-888-4387.
Your home cleaning friend. It's Edelman again. Edelman.
The President and I want to wish every American a very Merry Christmas.
During the sacred season, Christians celebrate the greatest miracle in human history. More than 2,000 years ago, God sent his only begotten Son to be with us.
The bells, the bows, and the flashing lights, the mistletoes and the silent nights. It's all for show and it's all right. That's not why I love this time of year. It gets me and it never lets me act like I don't care. This time of year is my favorite time of year, 'cause all of us are here together.
In this holy season, we thank God for his infinite love, and we pray that the light of his glory will forever shine on this magnificent land. On behalf of Melania and the entire Trump family, we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
The mighty Boss Tones providing the intro music on the second hour of the Dan O'Donnell Show Wednesday edition, December 10th. We are now 15 days away from the big day. Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. I want to remind you that we do still have some time to get those submissions in to the Dan O'Donnell Show Family Christmas Special. I realize I may have scared some people off into thinking that we're already filled up. In fact, I have done the math on the entries that we've already got, and we do have room for more, ladies and gentlemen. I was worried. I said, we're only going to guarantee the first 50 can get in, but we do have, if you were wondering, hey, am I even going to, if I submit my kid or my grandkid or my school or church choir or orchestra or band, are they even going to be featured? Yes, they are. We do have rooms still available, and I have gotten very, very good at being able to edit pieces and things like that to where you'll never even notice, but we just have very hard breaks that we have to get to. We have to fit the show into an 80-minute rubric. So I have 80 minutes exactly to work with, and we will fill each and every one of those minutes with the sounds of your children singing and playing their musical instruments. Just email me, dod@iheartmedia.com. Video or audio file. Just tell me the name of the child, age, maybe where they go to school, or where they're from. I realize people are rightfully very wary about giving out personal information. I'm never going to give that out on the air, just so I can, identify them as, hey, here's 7-year-old Timmy. He's from Menominee Falls, and he's going to sing Little Drummer Boy or something like that. I'm not going to use a full name or anything like that. But what I am going to do is just I want people to get some context for the age of the performers and that sort of thing, skill level, whatever. There are no auditions. Everyone who submits is going to be a part of the Dan O'Donnell Show Family Christmas Special, which is going to air exactly 2 weeks from right now. Well, wait a second. No, that would be 2 weeks from yesterday. 2 weeks. Oh my goodness. 2 weeks from today is Christmas Eve. Even though I said 15 days from now is Christmas, it's just when you hear 2 weeks from today is Christmas Eve, it just makes you think of all of this stuff you still have to do, all the presents you still have to buy, all of the gifts you still have to wrap. We actually did well this year. My wife and I just got the Christmas cards in the mail today. Usually that does it. Well, we use a service called Shutterfly to make our cars, which is fantastic. I highly recommend Shutterfly. But it would, for the last couple of years, not matter how early we got the Christmas card done. We would actually pay to have Shutterfly address the envelopes and then mail them out. It was something like $1 per, which seemed like a really good deal. The only problem, we would get the card done on like December 2nd, and for whatever reason, people would not get the cards until like December 23rd. So finally, we were like, okay, Shutterfly, you could address the envelopes. We'll dump them in the mailbox. Thank you very much. So yeah, it's a very busy time of year, and we recognize that it is tough sometimes to take that extra step and record your kid. But trust me, it is so worth it when you hear them singing their little hearts out, playing their little hearts out. It makes my year, even though it is a ton of work and a ton of stress on me personally every single year putting the show together, I wouldn't trade it for anything, because hearing your kids play and sing, you cannot possibly remain a Grinch after hearing that. And it's such a labor of love. So DOD@iHeartMedia.com. Get those entries in. I'm starting to think Friday might not be a hard and fast deadline. People on how about we extend it? Should we extend the deadline, Armin? We can extend the deadline to the end of the weekend. How about that? You've got until Sunday. How about that? You've got this weekend to get me those performances. Get them in, email them, and hear your kid 2 weeks from today, because it is going to be premiering 4 o'clock Tuesday, December 23rd. We figure everybody will be off of school. People will be coming home from work. You'll be able to hear your kids. A 2-hour show that is then going to be repeated throughout the day, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Daily Trump Date time right now.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning.
Trump just keeps winning.
It is a win for the administration.
It's also a big win for the United States.
We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
And it was all about the economy at a business roundtable today, attended by the likes of Tim Cook from Apple, Michael Dell of Dell Computers, who just gave the single biggest donation in the history of mankind, $6.25 billion to fund essentially accounts, savings accounts for babies. They're known as Trump accounts, and they will teach, hopefully, children and their parents compounding interest and how to build real wealth in this country. The president did make some news, saying that the United States has seized a Venezuelan oil tanker.
As you probably know, we've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, large tanker, very large. Largest one ever seized, actually. And other things are happening, so you'll be seeing that later, and you'll be talking about that later with some other people.
Now, this comes amid escalating tensions as the United States has repeatedly bombed drug boats bound for the United States from Venezuela, and has been threatening embattled Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro with the possibility of some sort of ground force to take out either the Maduro regime or the Venezuelan drug gangs that clearly are propping him up. So it'll be very interesting to see in the next couple of hours and days where this standoff leads. The president also made some more news, unveiling the Trump Gold cards for legal immigrants. Individuals can purchase essentially protected status or legal residency in the United States for $1 million donation to the U.S. Treasury. Companies can do so for $2 million.
Companies are going to be able to go to the Wharton School of Finance, the Stern Business School, Harvard, MIT, wherever you may get your students, any school, and you're able to buy a card and keep that person in the United States, actually, so there's certainty, because I've heard from Tim Cook of Apple, and I've heard from a lot of
people, some of the people at this table, that essentially in the United States you can't keep the student. You can't hire people from the best colleges because you don't know whether or not you can keep the person. They come and have the people get out. They throw the person out of the country. You graduate number one from your college, and there's no way of guaranteeing, I guess you could say, there's no way of guaranteeing that they're able to stay in the country.
Now, how exactly will this work? You basically pay to stay? I've heard of pay to play. This is pay to stay. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick explained the X's and O's.
It's $1 million, and for a corporation, it's $2 million. And as the president said, for a corporation, they spend $2 million. They can then have an employee. Full vetting, the best vetting the government has ever done. $15,000 vetting to make sure these people absolutely qualified to be in America. Absolutely qualified. And then the company can keep them here, and they have a path to citizenship, right? Obviously, they have to be perfect people in America, and having passed the vetting, after 5 years, they'll be available to become citizens, and then the corporation can put someone else on the card. So for a company, they can keep putting people on the card, one person per card, and for an individual, it's $1 million, and it's a gift to the United States of America, to help America be great again under Donald Trump.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is your daily Trump date. Every day we take a look back at the things that happen in Donald Trump's Washington, free from liberal spin. The Trump gold cards is frankly a great idea. Yes, it is pay to play. Yes, absolutely. It does reward people who could essentially buy American citizenship. Think your average gangbanger trying to get into the country can afford that? The reality is individuals are not going to be purchasing these. Sure, you could get the occasional multi-millionaires just desperate to get into America, but if, generally speaking, somebody has the kind of money where they can spend $1 million to get themselves, first of all, they're not going to just pay $1 million to get themselves in. They're going to pay $1 million to get their wife in, $1 million to get their kids in. These are very, very wealthy individuals, and chances are, if they've made their money in a foreign country, chances are they're pretty well established in said foreign country. Where this becomes an excellent idea is in charging corporations $2 million per employee. What we have been told, especially by big tech, is that, well, we need H-1B visas because there is such a significant skills gap here in this country. We can't possibly hire American workers. We need to get Chinese and Indian workers to come in and do high-tech jobs. Well, the H-1B visa program has for a long time been exploited, and we're not actually bringing in people who have just unique skill sets that American colleges aren't preparing students here in this country to meet. We're bringing in people who are doing jobs that absolutely Americans can do, and quite frankly, they're taking jobs that Americans otherwise would do. Well, why do we need more and more and more H-1B visas? Well, because the reward is, hey, you get to come into the United States, and oh, by the way, we're going to pay you 50% less than somebody who we would just recruit from an American college. But hey, you get to come to the United States. Guess what? You get to come to the United States. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that great? Yes. So companies love this because it drives down the price of wages. Then all of a sudden, American workers are competing with people on H-1B visas who are being paid far less. This is also the same reason that illegal immigration is so devastating at the bottom edge of the wage scale. It's also why Bernie Sanders, of all people, has been such a vocal opponent of illegal immigration. At least he was back before Democrats put all of their eggs in the illegal immigration basket to deliver them a permanent voter base and voting majority. Sanders said, look, we need to secure our borders. There are hours of him saying we need to secure our borders because illegal, unfettered immigration hurts the American worker. He then shut up about that for 4 straight years while Democrats were just flooding the country with 10 to 12 million illegals, driving down the value of the American labor force. But nonetheless, no one ever said that Bernie was an especially ethical guy. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Bernie is, for all of his faults, he is an ethical, he's not a consistent guy. He knows how to play politics. Let's just put it that way. The H-1B visa has been one of the biggest farces in American immigration. What this essentially forces companies, especially companies that really do need highly specialized employees to do highly specialized work that maybe we just don't have enough of. Look, this is a pure numbers game. There are 340 million Americans in this country, 340 million people. Who knows how many actual Americans? My guess is it's probably somewhere around 310 to 320 million. There are 1 billion people in China, and there are 1 billion people in India. People in China and India are far more likely, at least in the upper classes, to get into STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. Here in the United States, we are really, really good at turning out queer studies majors. We are like the decadent late Roman Empire. We can afford, we have the luxury of not caring about stuff that actually matters. That's how wealthy we are as a country. Well, because there are so many people in India, so many people in China, and because there is such an emphasis on STEM careers, we really do need to import some of the very best and very brightest people from those countries because of the massive skills gap that we have here in the United States. Our colleges, our trade schools, our high schools, they're not turning out employees who are able to fill the jobs that are currently available. Suffice it to say, there aren't a whole lot of queer studies jobs here in America or pretty much anywhere else. Maybe France, there are a lot of them. I just imagine France has a whole lot of queer studies majors walking around the cafes. There is a skills gap. Nobody's going to deny that. But the solution shouldn't be just importing labor that is going to undercut the American worker. The solution should be, A, force is a bad word, incentivize colleges and individual students going into the careers that the American economy now needs, and B, developing artificial intelligence and robotic systems that can essentially alleviate some of the burden on some of these high-tech, especially coding jobs. Either way, we do need immigration from other countries, and traditionally, immigration from other countries has been a good thing. I know. You think I am the racist, xenophobic conservative. You want to know why we won the space race back in the 1960s? Do you know where a lot of those rocket scientists came from? Have you ever heard the name Wernher von Braun? A lot of the scientists in the early days of NASA were Nazis. Now, by the way, the left is going to say that rockets are now racist. No, Wernher von Braun was such a skilled rocket scientist that he was essentially given a choice. Hey, you can either go to prison for aiding in war crimes against the world, or you can come work for the United States government and help us beat the Soviets to the moon. Guess which one old Werner picked? That's a simplistic discussion of how the early NASA space program went, but a lot of the brain power actually did come from Nazi Germany. we understand and have always understood. In fact, a lot of the brain power that built this country in the Industrial Revolution came from other places on Earth. The concept of brain drain is not only beneficial to the United States, it is also detrimental to our enemies. And we have no bigger enemy right now than China. Just saw a supposedly top secret report, top headline on the Drudge Report today. I'm still one of the OGs who I'm like that last Japanese fighter still on the island fighting World War II. I think I'm the last conservative to still go to the Drudge Report every couple of days, because every so often there is a decent story. Clearly something, either he sold the site, he has nothing to do with it, or he's been replaced Invasion of the Body Snatchers style. But something has happened to Matt Drudge, because I usually go to the Drudge Report for the liberal take on things. Now, that's how far to the left it's gone. It's not just anti-Trump, because Drudge had a massive falling out with Trump. It is fundamentally a left-wing news aggregator now. Top story on the Drudge Report, though, said because of China's dominance in the development of hypersonic missiles, if we were to go to war over Taiwan, the Chinese would absolutely destroy the American naval fleet. We would actually have our most advanced aircraft carriers sunk within a matter of minutes because of Chinese hypersonic missiles. Now, I can tell you, have missile defense systems that the world has no idea about. We also have offensive capabilities that the world can only lust after. Case in point, we blew out of the sky Qasem Soleimani as soon as he got off a plane in Iraq. Iran's top general, remember that? It was January of 2016. Everyone thought it was going to lead to World War II. Hey, did anybody know that we were about to take out Iran's entire nuclear program? We did it. You really think we're just going to put a big old aircraft carrier in and wait for the Chinese hypersonic missiles to shoot it down? Okay, Drudge. Okay, top secret report that was supposedly leaked to the UK Daily Mail. But the point is, in terms of our discussion about H-1B visas and about the concept of brain drain, is if we are bringing in the top minds behind Chinese missile technologies, well, that technology becomes our technology. That's a very, very good thing. But I understand the argument against bringing in people to compete with Americans for jobs. And that's why I'd like to have a discussion. I know you folks have some strong opinions about this. The idea of H-1B visas, and these would actually be, I believe they're ED-1 and ED-2 visas, the Trump gold cards. I think it's actually the perfect solution to this. But what say you? 414-799-1130 or 1-800-838-9476. We will take your phone calls. We will read some of your when the Dan O'Donnell Show returns in just 3 minutes.
From the Lynch Chevrolet of Kenosha Total Traffic Center.
4145 southbound jammed up from Good Hope to Capitol. Roadwork in the left lane adds to that. Northbound slows up Mayfair to Burleigh. 94 westbound still very slow from 25th out to Hawley. I'm Tom Gaines. That's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Milwaukee Rescue Mission, transforming lives.
When men, women, and children in our community face challenges, the Milwaukee Rescue Mission is there to offer help, compassion, and hope. Yes, it's food and shelter, but the Milwaukee Rescue Mission also provides counseling, education, and other resources. Lives are transformed. Donate today at millmission.org.
If you're in the market for new shades or blinds, don't leave it to guesswork online at Bayview Shade and Blind. You can see, touch, and compare products at any of their 3 local galleries in Waukesha, Oconomowoc, or Menominee Falls. Stop in today at Bayview Shade and Blind or visit BayviewShade.com.
Gold is at an all-time high, so now's the smart time to turn your unwanted gold, silver, or diamonds into cash at Robert Hack Diamonds. Old class brass rings, broken chains, even dental gold or silver flatware could be worth more than you think. Sit down with a trusted expert for a no-pressure cash offer. They've treated clients with dignity and fairness for over 64 years. If in doubt, bring it in. It's not just about gold, it's about trust. Robert Hack Diamonds, 146th and Greenfield Avenue in Brookfield and 76th and Layton in Greenfield.
We're the Libby family
at Do-It-Yourself Bathroom Center near State Fair on 62nd and Greenfield.
Bathrooms and kitchens are our specialty.
We use real wood cabinets and quartz tops to make beautiful rooms you will love for many, many years.
And our experts really know their stuff.
Remember our slogan,
I did it myself at Do-It-Yourself.
We use powerful truck-mounted carpet cleaning units designed to remove even the toughest dirt, and certified cleaning technicians who understand the definition of clean.
Edelman Carpet Furniture and Drapery Cleaning.
It's Edelman again. Edelman.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules. Make News Talk 1130 WISN your #1 preset on our free iHeartRadio app, powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
Critical events drive critical times, and these are the times to learn critical lessons. Recent events should teach us that the struggle for liberty is ongoing, and forces that are misguided or sinister stand at the ready to take our liberties away. At News Talk 1130 WISN, we are dedicated to identifying the risks to our freedoms as they arise, and to alert you to those risks, valuing our liberties and our rights. This is News Talk 1130 WISN. No radio handy? No problem. Listen to WISN's live audio stream 24/7 via the web. Just click on the Listen Online tab at newstalk1130.com.
Navidad from all of us here at the Dan O'Donnell Show. Welcome back to it. President Trump today announcing his gold cards. This is something that he was discussing for a while now. It is now finally live. You can actually go to the Trump Gold Card website and purchase for $1 million your entry into the United States. For an individual, for a company, it is $2 million. Legal immigration has always been, it's sort of been something that traditional conservatives, the supply side, Reagan era, Bush era, pro-growth, global economy conservatives have always been a big fan of. Trump sort of broke the mold on that one because he was a very America first oriented president, and he has been putting the focus on protecting the American worker. The idea that we should just be importing people to take American jobs is frankly something that I was always a little uneasy about in the Bush and Reagan eras. And in fact, I think the biggest mistake that George W. Bush made post 9/11 was not sealing off the border. You would have absolutely, you would have 100% and completely shutting down immigration, both legal and illegal, and seriously vetting all of the people that we're bringing into the country. We didn't because there was a big movement of big business that wanted its cheap labor. But when you talk about the Trump gold cards, I mean, you're bringing in truly the absolute best and the absolute brightest. Think we're bringing in truly unique people like, say, Elon Musk. Elon Musk, by the way, is the wealthiest man in the world who has created more jobs than almost any human being and has, yes, paid more taxes. Do you realize it's this myth that Elon Musk doesn't pay taxes? He paid $11 billion with a B dollars in taxes in 2021. It was the single biggest tax bill anyone has ever paid in the history of this country. But liberals, like podcast host Jennifer Welch, today's unhinged liberal of the day, still think he is a parasite and he is the one immigrant that we should not have in this country.
It's wild how rural America, like they believe that land, votes, and they don't understand that they're being taxed at a higher rate than somebody like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, who I want to remind everybody that's against immigration, is a fucking immigrant. I just think it's really important that we remind everybody all the time that Elon Musk is a fucking immigrant that doesn't pay taxes, who is a parasite off the American taxpayer.
Parasite. He's a parasite. He puts rockets into space and then catches them so they can be reused. He has directly and indirectly, through Tesla and SpaceX's impact on the global supply chain, created an estimated 600,000 jobs. 600,000. That is more people than who live in the city of Milwaukee, employed directly or indirectly because of Elon Musk, the so-called parasite who sucks off of the American taxpayer. Let's go out to the phones and talk with Cody in Burlington. You're up first on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Merry Christmas to you, Cody.
Hey, Merry Christmas. Hey, I just wanted to touch on something you said earlier about how our country's education system just isn't churning out the skilled workers that we need and that we've got to outsource them. And not that I'm not a fan of the gold card membership. I think that's a classic Trump idea, but
especially the color, right?
Sure.
You knew it was going to be gold.
No, but
yeah,
it's going to be gold. It's going to be great. But I'd love to hear about an announcement from the Trump administration about a new program, like you said, incentivize our up and coming youth to go and want to be that skilled worker that making the big bucks. I mean, for someone who's, I'm 30, 31 years old, and I'm going to have a kid soon, and I love the idea of my kid growing up into a country where we're educating our youth to go and be those problem solvers, those future Elon Musk,
Well, unfortunately, Cody, that's way bigger than Trump or any politician or any government. That's sort of a cultural issue. You sound like you're pretty with it. You're pretty, hip with the social media stuff. You said you're 31?
Sure. Yep. I'm 31.
And by the way, just out of curiosity, when is your son or daughter due?
You know what? Sometime next year,
Okay, fair enough. Hey, I just
stages.
Okay. Oh, very early. Okay, well, hey, dude, congratulations. Your life is about to change and is about to become so incredibly awesome. I'm at the late stages of.
I appreciate that.
I've got an adult. I have an 18-year-old kid, if you can believe that, a high school senior. So I'm not done, but in a different stage. And man, it. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, these are the best. It's going to be hard as hell. Babies are hard as hell. What do they say? It's they make babies cute so you don't give them back, and they make teenagers terrible so you don't hold on to them forever. So always remember that. But you're pretty up on like social media and stuff. Do you know why Vivek Ramaswamy is like no longer in Trump's orbit? Do you remember that? Okay, so last year, he's running for governor of Ohio, but he was like done. Well, one.
Yeah, I love that guy. He disappeared as fast as he came in.
Right? Didn't he? The reason was, A, he really got on everybody's nerves. That apparently is a real thing. I heard that multiple times when I was at the White House. Like, he was just apparently an annoying guy. And, like, Elon Musk hated him. Right after, it was either right after Christmas or right before. It was right around this time last year. There was a big debate about this exact same thing, H-1B visas. And he put out a tweet, and it was a very long tweet. It was a very well-written tweet. And he said, look, the reason that you have so many Indians who need to come in, Vivek is obviously Indian, the reason you have so many Indians coming in is because Indian culture values the math superstar and the chess club champion and the science club captain. American culture values, and he listed all of these, he said like Zach Morris and like TV characters who are kind of slackers. And he said American culture values the captain of the football team and the prom queen. He said this is a massive cultural issue, and the implication that a lot of MAGA took from that, especially in the Trump White House, Cody, was that he's saying Indians are better than Americans, and there was a little bit of that. Don't get me wrong, there was a little bit of that, but there was a lot of truth in that. Right? So when you say, hey, we need more Americans to take these high-tech jobs, well, what do we culturally aspire to when we're young? Being a football star, being an actor, being a rapper, now being a video game streamer, for goodness sakes. By the way, watch out for that with your kid. The video games, my good, if my 15-year-olds, I will make you a bet, Cody, right now. I will bet you Christmas dinner that my kid, if he is not out at his golf lesson where he's supposed to be, he is playing video games. Games.
Elon Musk says that work is going to be optional in 20 years. I mean,
well, there is that.
Do you have anything better to do?
And that's, hey, Cody, that's the other thing. That's the other thing that we do need to talk about. What I've been making a massive focus here on this show. What happens if by the time your son, daughter, do you know what you're having? Probably not, because you're not very far along, or your wife is not very far along. You don't know yet what you're having?
No.
No, okay. But what about in 20 years when your son or daughter is 19, 20 years old? What happens if they don't need to work, right? What happens if work really is optional? These are all fascinating questions. Hey, Cody, Merry Christmas to you and your wife and the little one, who I'm sure will grow up. It's like, they had Belling babies and Rush babies. We got a Dan baby right there. Great conversation, Cody. Really do appreciate it. I'm looking at the clock and realize we are way, way late for a break. So let's take it right now. Dan O'Donnell Show. Coming right back in just a second.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
94 westbound still pretty jammed from 25th to Holly for a 12-minute delay. Eastbound slows 84th to 68th for a 4-minute delay. In Brookfield, a crash at Mount Maine has been cleared. I'm Tom Gaines. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com, and we sell custom blinds, shades, and shutters at low prices. Our blinds are handcrafted to fit your windows, and if they don't, for any reason, we'll remake them for free. Your satisfaction is always guaranteed at Blindster.com.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
B97.3 has flipped the switch, and it's now Milwaukee's home for the holidays.
All your Christmas favorites all season long.
Oh, there's no place like home for the holiday. 'Cause no matter how far away.
Milwaukee's home for the holidays. B97.3.
The only real estate agent I trust here in Milwaukee is Justin Hoffman with RE/MAX Lakeside. Now, thanks for joining me today. The biggest fear for any home seller is the agent that plants a for sale sign in their yard and then just disappears. How important and consistent would you say communication is between both your team and your client's team?
Yeah, Sean, in business, it's everything. Here, Team Hoffman, we believe consistent, clear communication builds trust, keeps everyone on the same page, and most importantly, eliminates surprise. From the very first call all the way through closing, you're never going to wonder where things stand. You're going to hear from us every week because we keep you informed every step of the way. Communication isn't just important, it's the foundation of our success.
All right, thanks for keeping us up to date. Just go to wihomeeval.com. That's wihomeeval.com. Or just Google Team Hoffman and check out over 700 five-star reviews.
When starting a new home project, the first step is the hardest to take. Hi, Colleen here with Tri-County Contracting. And with Tri-County Contracting, the first step is super easy. Go to tricountycontractingwi.com. You can fill out a short form requesting a free estimate. Amanda will give you a call and schedule a no-pressure appointment with you. Whether it's roofing, siding, windows, or all of the above, we have you covered. If you are looking for an even faster roof roof price, we also have our instant roof quote button. Name, address, and email address, and you have your price on the spot. Easy first step. Then, all the steps after that, we'll take care of those for you. Getting you an easy-to-read, clear proposal quickly comes next. Then we can help you pick colors using our showroom or project map on our website. We pull the permits, we take care of materials and disposal. Our trained and specialized crews and project managers take care of all the install and cleanup. For you, it's as easy as one step, and that step is easy. Worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. Tri-County Contracting.
Dan Voss from Cut and Go here. At the end of this commercial, I'm finally going to release our phone number. Unbelievably, demand has helped Cut and Go amass a fleet of 5 cranes to handle raw tonnage of volume. We just added 2 more of our amazing remote-controlled truck-mounted articulated crane grapple saw tree removal trucks to our fleet. Seasonal pricing, frozen ground, less materials to haul, and disease and insects that don't spread during winter dormancy. Call Cut and Go 262-443-4995 or pick your preferred service at cutngotrees.com. Cut and Go safely in very organized fashion brings down trees for you to clean up at your leisure, or with Chip and Go service, we chip the limbs as they come down, or our premium full cut cleanup and removal, virtually levitating the tree off your property as it comes down. Call 262-443-4995. A Tons of Trees movement. cutngotrees.com. That's cutngotrees.com.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell, for my friends at Current Electric, they'd like to thank Southeast Wisconsin for making them the #1 choice in same-day electrical services. Do you know the reason so many people choose Current Electric? It's trust. And it's that simple. People trust the Current Electric electricians that come into their homes and perform same-day electrical service and repairs, and have for over 40 years. Give the superheroes from Current Electric a chance to earn your trust. You won't be sorry. Go to callcurrent.com.
Do you have a written financial plan? Hi, I'm Aaron Kowal of Kowal Investment Group. We have recently joined Creative Planning, a national registered investment advisor. This move to Creative Planning allows us to provide more comprehensive wealth management services to help with all aspects of your finances, including your investments, taxes, estate plan, and more. If you already have a plan, or if you need to start planning, our fiduciary advisors can help. Visit creativeplanning.com to get started. That's creativeplanning.com.
Sniffles and sneezes got you down? GoodRx is here to help with big savings on commonly prescribed cold and flu meds. GoodRx is free and easy to use. GoodRx is accepted at all major pharmacies like CVS, Walmart, and Walgreens. Just search your prescription, find a coupon, then show your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx is not insurance, but it works whether you have insurance or not. If you do, GoodRx may beat your copay price. Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com to save today.
Injured? Call Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Smart speakers put WISN's programs as close as the sound of your voice. Tell Alexa, Google Home, or Siri on HomePod to play 1130 WISN on iHeartRadio. And listen to Milwaukee's best talk shows.
Back out to the phones here on the Dan O'Donnell Show and talk with Mike in Milwaukee. Mike, you are on the program. Welcome to it, and Merry Christmas to you.
Hey, Merry Christmas. Love your show.
Thank you.
When I heard the Vivek Ramaswamy commenting going on, I just wanted to share that if you go back, and again, I think he's a very bright individual. I actually like him. Sometimes those geniuses with high brain functioning powers, like with him and Elon Musk, don't always get along. That's not unusual. But I really do like Vivek Ramaswamy. He's been quiet. But when I watch the primary debates, and when you go back and look at the primary debates and watch them on YouTube or whatever you use, and really watch the last couple debates, he was already out of it.
Yeah.
He had one single mission. He was out to sink Nikki Haley, and I'm glad he did.
That's actually kind of true. I was actually at the first debate in Milwaukee, if you remember, in August of 2023. Yep. And it was like someone gave a chipmunk 5 shots of espresso. That's what he was like. And frankly, I've always thought Vivek was, I don't want to say he's a grifter. I don't want to say he's a snake oil salesman, but I also don't not want to say that. Just Google for yourself how he made his money. And but he was very clearly a stalking horse for Trump. What he was angling for from the very beginning was a job in the Trump administration. Mike, thank you very much for the call. Vivek grew on me. Actually, he grew on me quite a bit because I realized he was at least somewhat genuine. He's still got a whole lot of snake oil salesman in him. I haven't totally warmed up to him. What we're talking about, though, is in the context of about a year ago, Vivek essentially got drummed out of the MAGA movement, certainly out of the Trump White House. Remember, he and Elon were going to co-run Doge, and Elon very quickly forced Vivek out. I guess, yes, Vivek, people are telling me. The correct pronunciation is Vivek. Vivek put out a tweet in which he said, hey, the reason that America is in sort of dire economic straits is because we aren't putting the same value on education. We aren't putting the same value on STEM careers. We aren't putting the same value on making it, quote unquote, in America in the same way that, say, Indian immigrants are. And this is why we do need skilled immigrant visas, H-1B visas, and we do need to bring in people from across the world to do the jobs, not just that Americans won't do. We get that argument all the time with illegal immigration. Americans won't be maids. Americans won't be cooks. Americans won't be farmers. Give me a break. We also get the argument at the higher levels of the economic spectrum that there are jobs that Americans just aren't qualified for. That, and in fact, Trump, rather infamously about a month or so ago, made that argument on the Laura Ingraham show. He said, hey, Laura, look, our colleges just, we don't have enough skilled laborers. You can't pull somebody off of the unemployment line and just put them on an assembly line to do highly skilled work. Highly skilled robotic work or mechanical work or whatever it is. And Ingraham, to her immense credit, pushed back on him and said, look, we have 300. You're telling me that we can't find or train or educate people in this country to do the jobs that America needs them to do? Certainly we can. Trump is very big on legal immigration. But I believe the Trump gold card will actually make companies put literally their money where their mouths are. They're saying, okay, we need this skilled labor. We need these very highly skilled people. Well, are they worth $2 million to you? If so, import them. If not, find them or train them in the United States. When we come back, we will name the unsung hero of the day. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
From the place you want to go, Lynch McGuanago Traffic Center.
4394 southbound has a crash in the left lane near Mitchell. It's jammed solid back to Highland Avenue for about 15 minutes worth of very slow traffic. Northbound 43 is just a little bit slow now around Brown Street. I'm Tom Gaines. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Need new blinds? At Blindster.com, we offer guaranteed low prices, guaranteed satisfaction, free samples, and free shipping. At Blindster, we take the fear out of ordering custom blinds, shades, and shutters so you can do it yourself and save big. Blindster.com.
This holiday season, Bayview Shade and Blind is making it easy to give back and save. Stop into one of their 3 area galleries, make a minimum $50 donation to help a local family in need, then get a special discount by picking a holiday ornament. Save up to 16% off your next order, plus free installation. Blind matches every donation dollar for dollar up to $5. Get into the shade and
The Vista of Mequon, a contemporary
over visible for a tour, visit riverclubofmequon.com.
Here's why. I'm Ken. I had pain and numbness in my leg from bulging discs.
Are you a football player or an actor?
No, I was operated on by a seemingly reputable doctor. He operated on the wrong side of my back. While digging around, he did substantial nerve damage. I now have permanent pain and numbness in both legs. A big advertising in Wisconsin was interested in my case.
Keith Orr of the Warshevsky Personal Injury Firm. After being rejected, Ken turned to us. Doctor and attorney Warner Rice helped to discover that the surgeon operated on the wrong side and misrepresented what he billed Ken Health Insurance for a procedure that wasn't actually performed. Utilizing unique resources and skills, Warshevsky achieved a $2.9 million settlement by preparing Ken's case to win at trial.
And Warshevsky was instrumental in making sure that shameless doctor won't hurt anyone else. Warshevsky is a great law firm.
Injured? It is about the money. Warshevsky.com. 414-276-4970.
Why not get a fresh-cut, real Christmas tree from Prospect Hill Garden Center this year?
And evergreen garlands, wreaths, festive poinsettias.
Bring the kids for hot chocolate, marshmallows, and hot cider.
Prospect Hill, New Berlin. Bloomsite.com.
You've held on to that old jewelry for years. Maybe it was a class ring, a broken chain, or a silver flatware from your parents' home. It meant something once, and it still does. But now it could mean something new. A chance to turn those tucked away treasures into real value at Robert Hack Diamonds. With gold at an all-time high, there's never been a better time to bring in your unwanted gold, silver, or diamonds. At Robert Hack Diamonds, you'll sit down one-on-one in a relaxed, respectful setting. They'll walk you through your items carefully, from coins and jewelry to sterling tea sets and even dental gold, and make you a fair, honest cash offer. No pressure, just real people who understand that sometimes it's more than metal, it's memories. If in doubt, bring it in. You might be surprised at what it's worth. 64-plus year tradition of treating every single client with dignity, fairness, and professionalism. It's not just about gold, it's about trust. Robert Hack Diamonds, 146th and Greenfield Avenue in Brookfield and 76th and Layton in Greenfield.
Things are going to be busy between now and the end of the year. Holiday gatherings, school functions for the kids, and family get-togethers. Hi, it's Jay, and the last thing you want to worry about this holiday season is whether your roof is going to make it through another Wisconsin winter. Well, one call to Semperfi Roofing to schedule a free 21-point roof inspection will put your mind at ease. A highly trained roof inspector will carefully examine every inch of your roof, checking the 21 most common areas of roof failure, and then go over the results with you and discuss your options going forward. Most of the time, problems can be fixed with a minor repair, but if it is time for a new roof, Semperfi offers money-saving discounts and financing terms to make paying easy. And don't forget, Semperfi is so confident in their skilled installers, they offer a 50-year leak-free guarantee on every roof they install. 50 years. So call or go online to schedule your free 21-point roof inspection today. Call 262-600-2910, 262-600-2910, or online at semperfiroofing.com.
We keep you safe, warm, dry, Semperfi. Your home cleaning, it's Edelman again. Edelman.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
WISN. Dictators, extenders, political cronies, global warming alarmists, charlatans, liars, scam artists, and feeders at the public trough. The threats to your happiness are many, but that's where we can help. News Talk 1130 WISN. Our truth shall keep you free.
Boy shot and killed in Milwaukee overnight. The media may have moved on from the horrible crime problem in Democrat-controlled cities. We have not. We will discuss. Plus, Morgan Geyser, I'm getting her confused with her victim, is now gone from the Waukesha County Jail. Don't worry, she and her creepy 40-something boyfriend did not escape again. She's back at a mental health facility, which she never should have left. We will get into that and much, much more coming up in the 5 o'clock hour here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Right now, though, it is time to name our unsung hero of the day. Today's unsung hero hero is a 6-year-old by the name of Xander Matuszewski. I do apologize if I am absolutely butchering his name. But 2 years ago, he was released from the hospital after he had a very serious health issue. This year, for Christmas time, he has returned to deliver gifts to the children. What an incredible, kind young man. In August of 2023, the story from today's TMJ4, he was just 4. Xander went into septic shock due to a rare immune condition called neutropenia. Spent 10 days on life support and weeks at Children's Hospital awaiting a bone marrow transplant. Well, he has recovered. After 7 days of chemotherapy, he received his transplant in 2023, and he is healed. Now he's giving back this holiday season, healthy and back in school, playing baseball, football, and basketball with his brothers. Xander is returning the kindness, creating an Amazon wish list filled with toys he loved during his hospital stay and donating them to kids at Children's Hospital. An incredible story for the holidays. Xander, you are our unsung hero of the day.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the Annex Wealth Management Studios. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference. Stay informed all day, every day on News Talk 1130 WISN. Milwaukee, an iHeartRadio station. Guaranteed human.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michaels. It's been a messy commute today, especially earlier this morning after rain and snow moved through our area last night, especially the farther north you are. Fox 6 meteorologist Lisa Michaels.
Germantown, Menominee Falls, those are some of the spots that saw the higher amounts of snow, upper 3s to 4 inches, and Glenbeulah saw 5 inches of snow. So it really was a lot of our northern and northwestern areas that had the higher amounts.
Morgan Geiser is no longer in the Waukesha County Jail. Last month, police say Geiser cut off her ankle monitor and escaped from a group home in Madison. She was found the next day in Illinois. Geiser's attorney had requested she be moved to a mental health facility while she awaits a hearing on her conditional release. And as expected, the Federal Reserve announced its third straight interest rate cut, lowering borrowing costs by 1/4 point. Checking the holiday automotive and Fond du Lac sports scoreboard. Badger basketball tonight. Wisconsin will play at 23rd ranked Nebraska. Tip time 8 o'clock. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Here's the latest forecast presented by AdventKnows.com from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Gradual clearing tonight, becoming cold, 20s this evening, single digits to around 10 by morning. Partly sunny on Thursday with a high of 21. We could see some snow Thursday night, especially southwest of Milwaukee. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Tom Walks.
This report is sponsored by O'Keefe's Working Hands Hand Cream.
Listen, if rubbing your hands together sounds like this, you need O'Keefe's Working Hands Hand Cream. It instantly relieves extremely dry, cracked hands. O'Keefe's, look for the green package.
Do you own a small business? A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get Super Sure.
Bob built a brand over the same 20 years INET has. I bought multiple properties over those years. Bob gets real estate like I never will.
In real estate, every brokerage does the same thing. MLS. Adding auction bidding to MLS, I knew if INET branded it, told our story, home sellers would understand and accept this real estate revolutionizing platform.
You can be the best in your industry like Redefined Realty is. Even revolutionize your industry like Redefined Realty has with auction. Yet, it's your story that sells.
You can't tell your story as well as INET Creative Genius will tell your story.
Real Estate for Winners is exactly what Redefined Realty and auction has always been.
Steven knocked our brand and marketing out of the park.
Selling a home? If you don't use Redefine's MLS and auction platform, you'll leave closing with less money than you would have. Tragic and that simple.
Websites, branding, design, video, and radio. INET is improving marketing for winners.
INETJustWeb.com.
CreativeGeniusMarketing.com.
Real Estate for Winners. RedefinedRealty.com.
If your business needs a reliable truck, you're in luck at Ewald. Thanks to the IRS Section 179 tax code, your business can write off up to 100% of new truck purchases in 2025. The Ewald Automotive Group is Milwaukee's only certified commercial truck dealer for Ford, Ram, GMC, and Chevrolet, with over 200 job-ready trucks in stock. Snowplows, dump trucks, cargo vans, service bodies. Visit ewaldauto.com today for inventory, locations, and more.
Do you own a small business? A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get Super Sure. Coming soon.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. More than 1 million people are part of healthcare sharing now because it just makes so much sense right now. And MediShare is the gold standard. Members like it a lot. We know this from member surveys. MediShare has been around for over 30 years. It is a proven thing. And if you join before December 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save $100 right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline's December 15th. Call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number. It's 866-89-BIBLE. That's 866-89-BIBLE. 866-89-BIBLE.
Kowal Investment Group, now Creative Planning, is a registered investment advisor. Now for your business report from Creative Planning. For informational purposes only, past performance is not indicative of future results.
Good afternoon. This is Tom Krieger with your afternoon business report. Major averages are higher today after the Federal Reserve announced a widely anticipated quarter percentage point interest rate cut, bringing the federal funds rate to a range of 3.5% to 3.75%. Meanwhile, shares of GE Vernova jumped over 16% after the global energy company said 2025 revenue was trending toward the higher end of its guidance. GE Vernova also doubled its quarterly dividend to 50 cents per share. At the close, the Dow was up 497, S&P 500 up 46, and the NASDAQ up 77. From Creative Planning, I'm Tom Krieger.
Passionate about what's right. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
The President and I want to wish every American a very Merry Christmas.
During the sacred season, Christians celebrate the greatest miracle in human history. More than 2,000 years ago, God sent His only begotten Son to be with us.
The bells and the bows and the flashing lights, the mistletoes and the silent nights. It's all for show and it's all right. That's not why I love this. I don't get never lets me act like I don't care. I know it'll be a favorite. Time to live us, love us all here together.
In this holy season, we thank God for His infinite love, and we pray that the light of His glory will forever shine on this magnificent. On behalf of Melania and the entire Trump family, we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And so do we here at the Dan O'Donnell Show. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. I guess we're going to pretend that that's actually a real thing. No, I'm dead serious. It is an absolute leftist farce. And the story of the guy who made up Kwanzaa in the 1960s, people just assume, gullible wine mom libs just assume it goes back to ancient Africa. It does not. It goes back to a left-wing, insane, violent, socialist college professor from the 1960s. Kwanzaa is not a real thing. It is not. Okay, people may celebrate it. People may, but it is not imbued with the history and tradition of, say, a Hanukkah or a Christmas or an Easter. It's not this deep cultural celebration. Juneteenth is much more of a traditional black holiday. right? It was the day in Galveston, Texas in 1865, I believe, that the final slaves got word that the Civil War had ended and they were freed. Yes, in case you are taking a look at the calendar and say, hey, wait a second, June 19th, I thought the Civil War ended in April. Well, yes, it took word a while to reach some of the most far-flung places in 1800s America, and Galveston, Texas was the last place where word reached and the final slaves were freed. Okay, yes, that has history to it. I do believe it is an attempt at division to have essentially an Independence Day for one race of people 2 weeks before the entire country celebrates Independence Day. But okay, I'll give you that crazy left-wing holiday, even though it is a date of significance on the calendar. Kwanzaa is just, it's leftist pap, even more so than, say, Arbor Day or Labor Day. Labor Day, that also has some history, but let's face it, that isn't in the pantheon of American holidays. It's not up there. That said, I do like the random day off at the end of summer. It's a nice little bookend. We've got Memorial Day, which obviously is a day that we do need to mark and honor. Veterans Day, it's always hilarious to me. Armin, have you heard me do all of the days of the year that are dedicated to the LGBTQ plus community? Yeah, we did the math. It is roughly 33% of the calendar year is dedicated to an LGBTQ Day of Remembrance or Visibility or Gay History Month or Asexual Awareness Day. We have 2 days for veterans and roughly 120 some dedicated to the gay community. All right. And that is my tangent on holidays for the year. But a happy Kwanzaa nonetheless. 414-799-1130 or 1-800-838-9476 if you would like to give us a call. Shoot us a text, DOD@iHeartMedia.com. My email address, find me at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, on Facebook, on Instagram. We are on YouTube as well, streaming live via the Dano Cam. And you can find me on iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts as well. Download, subscribe, follow, heart, thumbs up the Dan O'Donnell Show podcast. You'd be doing me a solid. New information on the 10-year-old boy shot and killed in Milwaukee. It turns out now, report from the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's Office, that the child shot in Milwaukee last night very likely died of an accidental self-inflicted gunshot wound. 46-year-old man, 36-year-old woman believed to be the parents have been taken into custody. This is the 10th child to die. Now, initially, this was recorded as a homicide because it was initially believed that the child was killed by someone else. Did I say 10th? 20th. There were 20 homicides, according to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel's homicide tracker, which is available at jsonline.com. 20 children have been killed in Milwaukee this year. We are, I'm not sure if you noticed, tracking significantly upwards in homicides in the city of Milwaukee again after a couple of years of homicides going down. Now, all of this is rather moot. If you're trying to compare homicides year to year, we are light years above where we were in the pre-George Floyd era of 2011 to 2019. So far this year, there have been 131 homicides. The only reason the homicide rate has sort of slowed down from its torrid pace over the past couple of weeks is because it's been really cold and we've had a ton of snow. We do have 5 more homicides than we did, according to, again, the JS Online homicide tracker, than we did at the same point last year. In 2024, there were, my computer is now slowing down, I believe the number was 142, if I am remembering correctly. We have seen a dramatic uptick in homicides since there was a concerted effort in the city of Milwaukee, the Milwaukee County criminal justice system, and really all across the country to decriminalize crime. Now, what happened to that poor child last night was not a homicide. It was an accidental shooting, yet if and when we get charges against the 2 parents, I'm going to take a wild guess that you are going to have all manner of leniency after long criminal records. The gun is probably going to be unlicensed. It is going to be almost certainly someone who should not be in possession of a gun. But we've just seen the exact same story replay over and over and over again. Unfortunately, I was right. Did I say 152? It was 151 total homicides. Those that fit the definition, the Uniform Crime Reporting definition of a homicide, it was 134. 131 homicides so far this year. I think I said 142. I was 10 off. The bottom line, though, is we have had upwards of 190, 200 homicides, 2021, 2022. The fact that they're going down marginally from that is not something that we should necessarily celebrate. We should compare where we are in 2025 to, say, a baseline year of 2019. Right now, 131 homicides in 2025. In all of 2019, there were 98. In 2018, 101. 2017, that was a particularly bad year, 119. Homicides, in other words, were dramatically down, not just in Milwaukee, but all across the country. They spiked up a little bit in 2015 and 2016 with the hands up, don't shoot movement. And of course, that sparked something called the Ferguson effect, where police officers no longer would engage in proactive policing. They wouldn't approach suspicious people because they didn't want to be forced to draw their firearm. They didn't want to be forced to shoot someone in self-defense or to stop a violent crime from being committed. They didn't want to be the next main character for the online mob. Derek Chauvin was the ultimate main character. Would you believe, incidentally, that even jurors on Derek Chauvin's trial did not believe that he smothered George Floyd or that he restricted the blood flow to his brain so that he died? Floyd did not die of a homicide. The official autopsy found he did not die. Jurors actually said later that they didn't believe that Chauvin was kind enough when he realized that George Floyd was in the throes of a drug overdose. That's what ultimately killed George Floyd, is not an overdose per se, but the fact that the drugs in his system combined with he was so agitated, his heart just exploded. I mean, he had a fatal heart attack as a result of that. He did not die because of the restrictive hold. He died because he had enough fentanyl to kill an elephant in his system. But the George Floyd effect was sort of the Ferguson effect on steroids. Not only did you have police officers not wanting to engage in proactive policing, you also had the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office refusing to prosecute the crimes that were referred to it. Do you know we still don't have an accurate number of the no process files? Jim Piavarchek, who is now in the Wisconsin Assembly, and our good friend Jessica McBride over at WisconsinRightNow.com, they did an incredible series called the No Process Files, in which they looked into just how many cases were being referred from various police departments across Milwaukee County to the district attorney's office for charges and were just never charged. They were dismissed. It was about 50% of felony referrals were just never charged because of this idea that, there's a backlog in the court system because of COVID-19. Well, what it really was is the former district attorney, John Chisholm, made it his mission. He said this over and over and over again. He wanted deferred prosecutions, alternatives to prosecution. And he very famously said right after he was elected in an interview with the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, he said, am I going to give a deferred prosecution to her? Am I going to release somebody who goes on and kills somebody? Yes, absolutely. It's guaranteed to happen. That doesn't negate the approach. Boy, is that liberalism summed up in one quote. For decades, Milwaukee County operated with this buffoon handing out deferred prosecution agreements like candy and releasing dangerous criminals out onto the streets. At the same time, post-2020, this idea that had been around the liberal fringes for a long time took hold, that we should end cash bail, that we should not only defund the police, that we should recognize that police officers themselves, the policing system in this country is inherently racist. But we should actually, once people are arrested, we should immediately put them right back out on the streets. This made them insanely dangerous because what did they have to lose? A, they're probably not going to show up for the trial for the violent felony with which they're charged, but then they can just commit new crimes knowing full well that those cases, and we have a long history of the district attorney's office doing just that in Milwaukee County, Dane County as well, they would fold those charges into a complete case against the defendant. What was rather remarkable about how screwed up our bail system was in Wisconsin is that you could reoffend. You could commit new crimes while out on bail. You could even be charged with bail jumping, and your bail would not be revoked. You would still be out. The excuse always was, well, we have overcrowding at the Milwaukee County Jail. Okay, build an addition onto it. Get the Property Brothers in there to remodel your jail so it fits more criminals in it, because clearly there's a need. They wouldn't do that. And this is to say nothing about the sweetheart slap on the wrist plea deals that judges were giving. People were so fed up in the post-George Floyd era in Wisconsin that we actually amended our Constitution. In an election, Liberal Supreme Court candidate won easily. 70% of Wisconsinites said, yes, we should crack down on bail. We should allow judges and court commissioners to set bail for reasons other than just ensuring someone will show up for their next court date or show up for trial. Bail should be used, and the people of Wisconsin agreed in passing this amendment to ensure the safety of the public. That is a reason we can lock people up. If we believe that this person is going to be a danger to himself, or more importantly, a danger to other innocent people, i.e. if he is likely to reoffend while he is out on bail, he shouldn't be out on bail. This is a very simple concept. And even after the people of Wisconsin enshrined it in our Constitution, we still have court commissioners and judges refusing to impose high cash bail to keep people behind bars. Now we even have our buffoon of a leading Democrat candidate for governor, our former lieutenant governor, Mandela Barnes, saying, oh, yeah, I don't think we should abolish cash bail altogether, but I don't believe people should be able to buy their way out of jail. No, Mandela, that's the idea. You set bail so high they can't bail their way or buy their way out of jail. We set high bail to ensure that they either can't get out of jail or if they somehow manage to get a massive amount of money. We don't have bail bonds in this state. You have to put up your own bail or somebody has to post it for you. We want that. We want to ensure that they show up. We want to ensure that they're on their best behavior. If there is reason to believe that they won't be, if they're going to be out there committing new crimes, or they are going to be threatening, say, a witness against them, they're threatening the victim. This is often the case in domestic violence incidents, which is why you get holds. You are able to put people in jail. The criminal justice system is so screwed up that the sky-high homicide rate is not necessarily unexpected. It is a natural outgrowth of policies that have been put in place literally for decades. But they've grown radically left-wing in recent years as a result of this George Floyd effect. Now, we have seen, and this actually shocked me. I was researching this story before the new information came out that the child was not a victim of homicide, but rather a self-inflicted gunshot, which doesn't make his death any less tragic or any less criminal. But there were 20 kids killed in Milwaukee this year alone. We are in week 48 of 52. 20 kids have been killed. That is roughly a child murdered on the streets of Milwaukee every 2.5 weeks. It's kind of a sobering perspective, isn't it? New homicide rate numbers just released yesterday show Milwaukee, by homicide or violent crime rate, is now the 11th most violent city in the country. Numbers 1 and 2, they typically flip-flop. New Orleans and Memphis. Do you know what New Orleans, Memphis, and Milwaukee all have in common? Every single one of those cities. You'd think they couldn't be more different. 2 are in the South. 1 is in the upper Midwest. None of them have had a Republican mayor in more than 100 years. It's almost like there's a pattern. It's almost like there's a trend. It's almost like there's a correlation there.
It's Christmas time.
From the Lynch Truck Center in Waterford, Total Traffic Center.
4145 southbound, stop and go Appleton Avenue to Hampton. Northbound is slow from North Avenue to Silver Spring. 4394 southbound before Mitchell. An accident's now been moved off to the left shoulder. It's still slow approaching that. I'm Tom Gaines. That's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by SuperSure.
Do you own a small business? You need to hear this. A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get super sure. Not kind of sure, not pretty sure, not a little sure, but super sure. The seismic shift is coming. Super sure, coming soon.
Here's why. I'm attorney Keith Trower of Warshevsky. You don't ever want a multi-million-dollar injury. If you're seriously injured and represented by a sign and settle firm, insurance companies are in the driver's seat, and your multi-million-dollar injury may be reduced to a multi-thousand-dollar injury.
I'm Ken.
Ken, are you an actor or are you a football player?
No, real person permanently injured by a fraud-committing doctor who operated on the wrong side of my back, making pain and numbness far worse and permanent. I had to hire someone else because the first law firm I went to turned me away. That was a lucky day because I hired Warshevsky instead.
Warshevsky's elite investigators, trial attorneys, and legal experts will prepare your case to win at trial from day one.
Insurance companies value your claim based on the quality of your attorney. My $2.9 million settlement proves insurance companies respect and fear Warshevsky at trial.
Injured? It is about the money. Warshevsky.com, 414-276-4970.
Clock's ticking on holiday shopping. Beat the rush and finish your list for less at Fleet Farm. Get a free DeWalt 20-volt max lithium battery with select Bear Tool purchases during DeWalt Deal Days. Save 30% on Field and Forest flannel for the family. And get 25% off our entire stock of slippers in-store only. Wrap up your shopping at Fleet Farm with great gifts at the best prices guaranteed. And for even more gift ideas, check out our gift guides at fleetfarm.com.
A Generac automatic standby generator that kicks right in when your power goes out is great peace of mind. Get a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from the #1 Generac dealer, Generator Supercenter. Go to GeneratorSupercenterofLakeCountry.com.
Make News Talk 1130 WISN your #1 preset on our free iHeartRadio app. Powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
The talk shows on WISN Radio. Not for the faint of heart and not for the feeble of mind. News Talk 1130 WISN. Fact is, until you've heard us, you haven't heard the whole story.
Christmas from all of us here at the Dan O'Donnell Show. Welcome back to it. Morgan Geyser, who was arrested in Illinois last month after kind of walking away from her group home in Madison, along with her super creepy, significantly older boyfriend, is no longer listed as being Bishop County Jail. Fox 6 has obtained a court document dated today that lists the state-run Winnebago Mental Health Institute as Geyser's address. Last week, a judge approved waiving the time limit for Geyser's next court appearance. She, of course, was one of 2 people convicted in the 2014 Slender Man stabbing. She was released from her mental health institute in Winnebago County earlier this year after her attorneys and state psychologists argued that she was no longer a threat. She was no longer dangerous. She no longer had bipolar disorder. She no longer had schizophrenia. She no longer had any of the mental health issues that 11 years ago prompted her to lure her friend Peyton into the woods and stab her multiple times, leaving her for dead to appease the fictional character Slender Man. This is yet another example of how the criminal justice system and the mental health system in this state are both geared towards getting dangerous people out of where they belong. It was very clear that Morgan Geyser has multiple instances in her mental health record, as she was declared not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect. And what that means, it's the old insanity defense. What that means is instead of going to prison, she was in a mental facility where she wouldn't be able to come and go as she pleased. Well, she was released from that earlier this year, and even though her record showed that she was very, very good at deceiving her caregivers, at lying to psychologists, at telling them exactly what they wanted to hear so that she would be out of her padded cell, so to speak, and she would be able to live a semi-normal life. Well, she didn't deserve that. And there was always evidence that she was still schizophrenic and still mentally ill. We went over this after Morgan Geyser's great escape. The fact that she now identifies as he, him, and has taken on a boy's name, I believe it was Ethan or Evan or something like that, that is evidence that she is still, in fact, schizophrenic. In fact, there is a mountain of evidence that schizophrenia is very closely tied with gender dysphoria and is tied with transgender ideology. This research, of course, has been buried by the forces of political correctness who will no longer even acknowledge that transgender ideology and gender dysphoria, which since it was first diagnosed has been a mental disease. It has been a mental malady. It was just always recognized until, of course, the forces of liberalism, who always, remember, follow the science, said, no. We cannot possibly classify these people as mentally ill. They just believe that they were born in the wrong body and that they need to chop off their male sex organs in order to be happy. That is perfectly sane. There is nothing insane about that at all. Just born in the wrong body. That's it. Okay. The evidence was always there that Geyser was still suffering from schizophrenia. The fact that she all of a sudden started, probably within the last year and a half, identifying as a boy, identifying as a young man, that is evidence that, and if anybody would have actually read the research, if anybody would have actually put two and two together, they would have realized Morgan Geyser is still suffering from schizophrenia. It is evidence of schizophrenia to say, oh, yeah, I'm a boy now. Multiple personalities. That is a sign of schizophrenia. You say, oh, well, I'm a girl. No, you're not. You are suffering from mental illness. And this is the thing. I watched the arrest video, the body camera video. It is clear that both Morgan and her significantly older creepy trans boyfriend, I forgot to mention, he too identifies as trans. They're clearly in mental distress. These are clearly not mentally well people. Does it serve their well-being to put them into a position where they can just sort of walk away and their plan was apparently to catch a bunch of buses to freedom? Well, they made it as far as a suburb of Chicago before they got caught. Huddled up next to a convenience store or truck stop. If they were not arrested, they were totally going to sleep on the ground. Is that good for them? Are we being kind and compassionate? Was that a good thing to do? Did that make the public safe? Someone who had a violent, insane delusion, admittedly when she was a 12-year-old girl, that Slender Man was going to kill her and her family if she didn't stab her friend 19 times. That's the sort of person that should just be out on the streets. And this is also, in a broader sense, the fundamental flaw with the Democrat Party's approach to homelessness. Oh yes, let's just let people live on the streets. Do you know what city actually surprisingly has one of the worst homeless problems I think I've ever seen? Is San Diego. You picture San Diego as just being beautiful, heaven on earth. They've got the big naval base. Nope, tons of homeless. Even more so that I saw, anyway, when I was there a couple of years back, than Los Angeles or San Francisco. It is because of misguided policies that say, well, these people should be free. No, they should be in institutions, either for severe untreated mental health issues or for severe drug addiction. And that's probably 85 to 90% of it. Alcoholism, drug abuse. It is not a healthy way to live in Skid Row in LA. It just isn't. It is not compassionate to say, well, we're going to allow more Skid Rows to pop up because putting these people in mental health facilities, putting these people in drug treatment facilities, that's going against what they want. Well, what they want is more drugs. What they want is to feed their delusions. They're in need of help. It is not helping them to keep them on the streets and to deny them the treatment that they so desperately need. It was very, very clear that not only was Geyser not getting the treatment that she needed in that group home in Madison, it was abundantly clear that she was lying to her doctors, who should have seen right through her little farce. But here's the ultimate problem with the mental health system as it pertains to criminally violent people. There is an incentive for doctors to say, oh, yes, this person is cured, when they're not actually cured. Do you think you're going to be viewed as a better psychologist by your peers? Like the psychologists who are treating Morgan Geyser and say, oh, yes, she's fine, she's fine, she's fine. This is one of the most notorious mental health criminals in the history of Wisconsin. You can make your reputation within your profession by saying, yes, I was the one who finally reached Morgan Geyser. I was the one who finally cured Morgan Geyser. Yes, state of Wisconsin, because of me, because I am so great, she no longer poses a threat to anyone. Well, turns out she actually does. And she proved it within about 6 months of being released to the minimum security facility. At least now she is back where she belongs, and hopefully where she will stay for a long, long time. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
94 westbound, stop and go from 25th Street to Holly. Eastbound, slow around Barker, and again from 84th to Holly. 43 southbound, slow starting at Center through the Marquette Interchange and down to National Avenue. I'm Tom Gaines. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. My Lowe's Pro Rewards members get 500 points for logging in to the Lowe's app for the first time. Take advantage of all your pro benefits today. Valid 12/1/25 to 1/7/26. Offer valid for first login only. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Visit Lowe's.com/terms for more details.
I'm Mark Belling, and my podcast is here, and I'm tackling the world. You can find me on the iHeart app or wherever you get your podcasts. Type Mark Belling Podcast in the search and hang on for the ride.
The Mark Belling Podcast is presented by Uline. For quality shipping and industrial supplies, Uline has everything in stock. Visit uline.com. Also supported by Cunis Auto and RV. The Mark Belling Podcast, now available at iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Prospect Hill Garden Center in New Berlin.
Make Christmas merry and bright with fresh cut real Christmas tree from Prospect Hill. Someone give your Christmas.
Don't get it, ladies. He spells that F-I-R. They're gorgeous. Fraser fir grown right here in Wisconsin.
Get excited because we pre-drill every tree to fit our tree stand. They're easy to set up, always straight, always stable.
We also have holiday containers, garland, and wreaths made fresh right on site.
We don't sell any hardware or lumber, but we offer beautiful poinsettias.
Gardening tools and gift cards from Prospect Hill will bring joy to the gardener on your list.
We've got hot chocolate, marshmallow roasting, and hot cider for the children.
Prospect Hill makes every normal day abnormally beautiful.
Seconds north of Highway 43 at National and Racine Avenue. Prospect Hill Garden Center, New Berlin. 262-679-2207, bloomsite.com.
It is This Week with Annex Wealth Management. Dan O'Donnell alongside the CEO of Annex, Dave Spano. And stop me if you've heard this one before, Dave, but a big Fed meeting this week. We could get another interest rate cut, and all of this is coming as we start preparing or continue preparing for the end of the year with our personal finances.
Yeah, I suppose that some people are fed up hearing about the Fed, if you will, right? But, you know, yeah, but they're going to have a quarter-point rate reduction. But that's not really the story. The story is, what are they going to say about what's going to happen in 2026? And likely we're going to get several more rate cuts in 2026. And you put that on top of a change in leadership, right? lot of people suggesting that Kevin Hassert will be the next Fed chair, and what will that look like? So lots of changing happen at the Federal Reserve. And of course, you talked about as we go into the end of the year, and this is the time, of course, that people are in a good mood. There's a lot of year-end planning that happens with qualified distributions, with DAFs, with donations, all happening before the end of the year. And you put that on top of the things that you should do at the end of the year, which is tax loss selling. If you are getting some of these things from your financial advisor, kudos to them. Otherwise, these are the things that a fee-only fiduciary talks about, not just now at the end of the year, but throughout the year and throughout the process.
And this is why you really do need to work with a fee-only fiduciary, because they're not trying to sell you something. They're not trying to sell you on a product that they control. They're working with and for you. So they're actually talking about tax implications. They're actually talking about what is actually best for you and your family's future, because ultimately that's what it's all about. I'm Dan O'Donnell for Dave Spano, the CEO of Annex. This has been This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
Dan Voss from Cut and Go here. At the end of this commercial, I'm finally going to release our phone number. Unbelievably, demand has helped Cut and Go amass a fleet of 5 cranes to handle raw tonnage of volume. We just added 2 more of our amazing remote-controlled truck-mounted articulated crane grapple saw tree removal trucks to our fleet. Seasonal pricing, frozen ground, less materials to haul, and disease and insects that don't spread during winter dormancy. Call Cut and Go 262-443-4995 or pick your preferred service at cutngotrees.com. Cut and Go safely in very organized fashion brings down trees for you to clean up at your leisure, or with Chip and Go service, we chip the limbs as they come down, or our premium full cut cleanup and removal, virtually levitating the tree off your property as it comes down. 262-440-4995. A Tons of Trees movement. cutngotrees.com. That's cutngotrees.com.
Here's a tale of Linda trying to lose weight, but the med prices she found were all over the place.
Hidden fees and markups made her jaw drop low. Then she found GoodRx. Now she's in the know.
GLP-1 subscriptions FDA approved.
With clear upfront pricing.
And same-day pickup.
That's GoodRx, the no-nonsense way. Save time and money on prescriptions.
Get to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Injured? Call Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Conservative thought, not just talk.
No talking points, just in-depth analysis and exclusive investigations.
The Dan O'Donnell Show, weekday afternoons 3 to 6 on News Talk 1130 WISN.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show, and Merry Christmas to you. Producer Armin, is this the Dan the Automator remix of Jingle Bells? I believe it is. In the Dan O'Donnell Show Christmas music bumper rotation. Look, we do things differently here on the program, and that includes our bumper music, remixes, classical hip-hop versions of your favorite Christmas carols, all Christmas season long. How about this? A rather shocking story that just broke about an hour or so ago. The University of Michigan football team fired head coach Sharon Moore for cause this afternoon after a university investigation that found credible evidence he was engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. Athletic Director Ward Manuel said in a statement Wednesday, this conduct constitutes a clear violation of university policy, and UM maintains zero tolerance for such behavior. Well, they tolerated a whole hell of a lot with Jim Harbaugh, but I guess he kept little Jimmy to himself, so that was okay. Michigan is slated to play Texas in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl on December 31st. The interim coach, I don't believe this is a real name. Biff Poggi. Biff Poggi. Biff apparently taking time off from antagonizing Marty McFly to serve as interim coach of the Michigan Wolverines. The news ends Moore's Michigan career at 17-8. His final game at 27-9 loss to Ohio State to conclude a 9-3 season. It is believed, says my producer Armin, that he was having a relationship with the executive assistant to the head coach. Is that a fancy way of saying his secretary? Tale as old as time, man. This is like this is the 21st century version of Mad Men at the University of Michigan football team. This is not, of course, the first high-profile incident of a coach using the wrong head to make his decisions. Of course, what is it? How do you pronounce his name? Ime Udoka? The former coach of the Boston Celtics, who is now the coach, or at least he was it Memphis? I can't keep track of all these NBA coaches. He was very famously fired from Boston several years back because he was having an inappropriate relationship with a subordinate. He's in Houston. That's right. Thank you. He's actually a very, very well-regarded coach. And he was when he was coaching the Boston Celtics. But HR rules are HR rules, man. Now, I guess, I don't know. I work in talk radio. The only woman that we actually have in the building is Vicki McKenna, and she doesn't work in the building. She works in Madison. And, of course, she's happily married, as am I. Plus, if I ever tried to make a move on Vicky, there would be like 6 bullet holes in my chest before I could say, "You look cute today." I'm kidding, Vicky. You know I love you. Yes, okay. My entire, working career has been, do you know who I've worked with? Belling and Jay Weber. All right. There is no opportunity for sexual harassment or inappropriate workplace relationships. But this apparently is a thing in the world of sports. Now, Armin made a very, very good point while we were in commercial break. Do you think Coach Moore, if he's in the college football playoff, let's say he is coaching Ohio State, and yeah, they lost to Indiana in the conference title game, but they're probably still going to win it all. Ohio State just looks head and shoulders above everybody. You're rooting for Indiana, right? Armin, of course, a big sports guy. I don't really follow college football all that closely. The Badgers had a terrible year. My alma mater, Marquette, is undefeated in football since the 1950s. But, I never really got big into college football because I didn't go to a Big Ten school. We're all rooting for Indiana, right? Yeah, I think you got to. Or James Madison. Yes, if somehow James Madison, and the big controversy this week is Notre Dame was so unhappy with the fact that they didn't get into the college football playoff that they took their ball and literally are staying home. They're refusing to go to a bowl game. People are saying that the bowl system as we know it, Rose Bowl, Citrus Bowl, all of that is effectively dead because it's been replaced by the college football playoff. I get that there are automatic qualifiers like the NCAA basketball tournament, but you're telling me that James Madison and Tulane deserve to be in the college football playoff instead of Notre Dame, which was ranked in the top 10 for, I think, the entire year except the very last ranking, the one that mattered, the one that they actually used for the college football playoff. That's ludicrous. All right, we will be back to wrap things up here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Stay with us. It is conservative thought, not just talk, and it is coming right back after this.
From the Lynch Buick GMC of West Bend Total Traffic Center.
Construction adding to delays on 4145 southbound stop and go Appleton Avenue to Hampton. Northbound is slow North Avenue to Silver Spring. 94 westbound still jammed 25th Avenue to Mitchell Boulevard. I'm Tom Gaines. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Harwood Place Retirement Living in Wauwatosa, located in the heart of Wauwatosa. Harwood Place Retirement Living's newly renovated apartments and updated pricing are changing the face of how to live your golden years. To learn more or schedule a tour, visit harwoodplace.org.
I'm Warshawski Law's nationally certified legal investigator, John Schatzman. If you or someone you love is horribly injured, Sign and Settle Lawyers should scare you more than blocking Clay Matthews on a Klingon battle cruiser. Insurance companies value your claim based on the quality of your law firm. Settlement Mills investigating your injuries is a lawyer who never tried a case looking at police reports. With Warshawski in your corner, our own investigator will be on the way to record the scene of your injury, interview witnesses, usually within minutes of your call. It's not uncommon for me to document and preserve evidence police officers did not see as significant. Meticulous examination of physical evidence, all documentation, and every medical record makes certain nothing is missed. Warshawski will show how your losses could have been prevented and exactly why they were not. Insurance companies are risk adverse. Warshawski's unique skills make record cash settlements possible. And when settlement is not forthcoming, your best outcome at trial. Injured, it is about the money. Warshawski.com.
Make iHeartRadio your #1 holiday app. Hundreds of non-stop Christmas stations like iHeart Christmas and festive playlists are waiting. Open the app, search holiday, and press play.
Doing construction, painting, or home repairs? Nyes Hardware in Menominee Falls has the tools to help you work smarter. Come explore our huge selection of power and hand tools, woodworking equipment, and architectural hardware. For over 80 years, Nyes has been the trusted supplier for home construction and industrial projects. Known for quality tools, hardware, fasteners, and paint. At Nyes, expert service and product support are what we stand for. Nyes Hardware. Great hardware. Big on tools. Located at Highways 41, 45, and Q in Menominee Falls.
Do you own a small business? A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get super sure.
Your next event starts at the River Club of Mequon. A contemporary 400-person grand ballroom with outdoor space overlooks the golf course. This unforgettable venue is perfect for your wedding day or company event. For a tour, visit riverclubofmequon.com.
I'm Total Health's Jay Johnson, the Falls and New Berlin. Seed oils, the #1 source of calories in American diets, developed as engine fuel in industrial lubricants, only ended up in the food supply for profit. Seed oils cause arthritis, heart disease, metabolic syndrome, stroke, type 2 diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, and chronic illness. Medical doctors prescribe dozens of pharmaceuticals for life to treat symptoms of those diseases. Why don't they tell you to stop consuming poison? I'll tell you why. You sick is profitable. At Total Health, we teach eliminating seed oils from your diet improves true health and how you feel. Total Health finds the root cause of your fatigue, weight gain, brain fog, sleeplessness, then works with you, the whole you, eliminating symptoms and the chronic disease causing those symptoms. It's not theory. Relativity equals expertise plus execution is true. Total Health's holistic practitioners utilize proven science to help you feel and truly be the most helpful and well you. TotalHealthInc.com. That's TotalHealthInc.com.
Ring in your holiday season at the Bradley Symphony Center when the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra and the Milwaukee Symphony Chorus present Hometown Holiday Pops, December 13th through the 21st. With 7 performances to choose from, there are plenty of opportunities for you to enjoy one of Milwaukee's most cherished and tuneful holiday traditions. Visit MSO.org for tickets and more information or call 414-291-7605. Allen Bradley Hall will be the very portrait of holiday cheer as you delight in so many of your favorite seasonal tunes in world-class performances. With an audience sing-along, performances by the Milwaukee Handbell Ensemble, and even a visit from jolly old St. Nick, there's something for everyone to enjoy. Don't miss this chance to make cozy holiday memories with family and friends. The number again for tickets is 414-291-7605 or online at mso.org.
For safe, purified water right from your faucet, the solution is crystal clear.
Any project, big or small, when it comes to water, one call does it all. SNK Pump and Plumbing.
Do you You own a small business? A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get Supersure. Coming soon.
Simplify keeps you safe, warm, and dry. For a free estimate, go to simplifyroofing.com.
Men's wedding bands made from whiskey barrels and meteorites.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Now give me something to dance to.
Out of sheer curiosity, producer Armin and I Googled Biff Poggi. Just his name was, it's hilarious, Biff Poggi. It sounds like a sandwich that you can only get at specialty sub shops in Philadelphia. Yeah, the Biff Poggi, please. It turns out the guy who is now the interim head coach at Michigan football, after Sharon Moore was fired because he was having an inappropriate relationship with a subordinate believed to be his secretary, or executive assistant to the head football coach, his secretary. Biff Poggi is now the interim head coach. Biff Poggi, would you believe, is not just a football coach. He built up a $100 million hedge fund with his father-in-law. It's called Samuel James Limited. He made himself millions and millions and millions of dollars, and he gave up his shares to some of his former players. So some of his former players have now taken his spot as one of the principals, or some of the principals at Samuel James Limited. I spent much of the last commercial break. He was coaching down in Charlotte. There's a big article in the Charlotte Observer about him, because we went to his Wikipedia page. I couldn't believe the Wikipedia. So then, of course, you Google it and you get the AI synopsis, which is basically just lifted from the Wikipedia. So I went to this Charlotte Observer article. I am now the world's biggest Biff Poggi fan. He looks exactly like you would think a guy named Biff Poggi looks. He looks like he's about 300 pounds and has never worn sleeves in his entire life. But as the old saying goes, you can't judge a book by its cover. Turns out the man is a financial genius. He turned an initial $25,000 loan into a $100+ million hedge fund and looked to pay it forward by being a true coach and mentor to young men, by truly changing their lives and getting them involved in finance. That is really, really cool. Now, will I ever, as a Wisconsin man, root for Michigan? No. But I am rooting for Biff Poggi. You know how he actually made his money, right? They say he got the initial $25,000 loan, he got the hedge fund. Biff, you know how he made his money. He got that gambling almanac from the future and then made all of his money knowing the outcome of games. All right, on that note, watch Back to the Future 2 if you haven't already. We are done for the evening. You've been listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. Back tomorrow.